League is doing something different, and here's how we got there. Back in the 1980s, football had a serious image problem. The sport was plagued by violence, pitch invasions and beer-fuelled chaos. From fan riots at the 1980 Scottish Cup final to the Heysel disaster years later, things were unsafe and the consequences were disastrous. Then in 1985, Margaret Thatcher's government stepped in. They introduced the Sporting Events Control of Alcohol Act, banning alcohol in view of the pitch across England and Wales. Since then, many fans and clubs have called for the law to be relaxed, especially since other sports don't face the same restrictions. If you're popping down to watch the Red Roses roar at Twickenham, feel free to grab a pint on the way to your seat. Wandering down to Lord's to catch some boundary bashing? Fill your boots with G&Ts. But if you were hoping to cheers your club's promotion to the Premier League with a Prosecco in hand from pitchside, sorry, it'll have to be tea or Bovril. In 2021, it looked like things might finally change. The government commissioned the Crouch Report, a fan-led review into football governance. One recommendation was to allow League Two and National League clubs to lift the alcohol ban to boost matchday revenue. But nothing came of it. Authorities still weren't convinced that fans could be trusted. And then in January 2025, something did change. The Women's Championship, now called the WSL2, launched a trial allowing fans to drink in the stands. The reasoning? Well, fans at women's matches tend to behave differently. Less aggression, more family-friendly vibes. Now, the women's game is raising the bar, literally. Select WSL and WSL2 stadiums are allowing fans to drink alcohol in view of the pitch. It's been a landmark move showing growing trust in fan, recognising that women's football is building its own culture. So could the men's game be the next to leave the 1980s behind? Well, maybe, if fans can prove they can handle a pint without pitching it at someone. Yeah, don't hold your breath. Until then, it's Bovril all around. Cheers to that.
OK, we're off and running. What we've got, Tuesday the 31st of March, it's 3 minutes past 6. A very good morning to one and all. This is talkSPORT Breakfast with Arnold Clark. Browse the UK's best used car deals and score your dream car today. Check out the website for more details. Ally and Andy with you this morning. Andy, how are you?
I'm great, Ali. How are you, pal? Everything
Excellent,
good?
top form.
Magic, pal. Magic. Good to hear.
When did you go down last night?
Came down last night.
Train?
Game of golf yesterday.
Whoa!
Not some of my finest work, I might add. No, not
First
really.
game of the...
No, I've not played that many, mate, because of the weather. But it's just started to get a bit better everywhere now. So
Our weather's been horrendous.
Oh, it has. It's been so bad. But so I think I've played. What have I played? A couple of 9s and 18 yesterday. Started actually nice, but then all of a sudden, mind you, I'm a 10 handicapper, so you expect a bit of everything as a 10 handicapper.
That's not bad, though,
It's not
mate.
bad. It's not bad.
Bad yourself. I take it you've been lower.
I've probably, actually, Ali, I think over the years, I might probably have played a little bit better than 10. I don't play in all the club competitions and stuff like that. I just rock up with the lads.
That's what I do.
Friday usually.
Prefer a game with the boys, you know what I mean?
I do too, mate. I do. But yesterday, my friend Derek, we played, and yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it. Local Broadway, yeah. Broadway.
Nice.
Cotswolds. Lovely. Very nice. It sits up very high there, and so it's wonderful views all around. But it can blow a gale up there. It really can. But it's nice, pal. Very nice.
I'm the same, man. We're lucky. We live on the local course at the castle in Bridge-a-Weir.
Right.
And it's the same, man. First 2 holes, it's not a caddy you need, it's a Sherpa. Right?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly
and then
right.
You go up and then up the top of the second green, man, it's magic.
Is it lovely?
You can look all over like Glasgow, then the Clyde.
Is there always many there? So we can always get on our
can
place
we,
as
mate.
well. You know, there are some clubs you go to nowadays that because of the game, the way the game's, is exploding.
Oh, you're waiting on tees.
You can't get on, or you get.
I've got a wee system now with the Scottish Golf. I think you can but you go on the internet, you go on the boys now.
Yes.
I can't do it. The boys.
We don't have tea times. You just have to rock up. But if you turn up at certain times, you're always good to go.
It's not bad, actually.
No, it's good. It's good. It is good. It's nice. I do love it. And again, there's about 10 or 12 of us that usually play. But it's good fun. Good fun. Do like it.
Okay, we better get some work done. And
Yeah,
after the collapse of the Tudor era, Spurs are turning to a man who knows the league.
I can tell you that in the last few minutes, Brighton have confirmed the appointment of Roberto De Zerbi.
Into Welbeck, in the air, he's got 3 options, and it's smuggled in on the line. It's 4-0.
When his Brighton team were at it, they was good to have seen Brighton.
Brighton will be playing European football next season.
I have to be proud because I saw how much the fans, the players love me.
Eventually, he's gonna manage a top team.
It's my understanding that talks with Roberto De Zerbi really ramped up late last night.
Ryan Mason's got a better win percentage than him in the Premier League.
Would you have Ryan Mason as manager over De Zerbi?
Do you know what? At this point in time, I think I probably would.
I don't think there is a single thing about De Zerbi's body of work that suggests that at this point in time, you give him a 5-year deal.
I'm kind of agreeing with the last one, by the way.
Darren Lewis, I think that was. Yeah.
It was Dan.
Yeah. What do you think? Why have they given him 5 years?
Aye.
Well, for someone that's, I mean, look, I'd be staggered if he gets 3 years, 4 years done. Never mind 5. But look, in the position that he's in right now, and if you want, because I think a lot's been said, Ally, innit, about the fact that he ideally wanted to take that job in the summer.
Yeah.
Once Tottenham's Premier League status has been secured again. So, look, it's one of those, they negotiate, they get it done. I like him, I've got to say, I don't
mind him.
I do like him. I like a bit of Maverick, a bit of
Yeah,
chaos.
no, I'm ashamed. The only thing I would say, I don't know whether you agree or not.
Go on.
I don't think it really matters who they bring in.
Right now?
Right now, I think there has to be reaction in the dressing room.
Of course there is. Well, he gets that, doesn't he?
Well,
He gets that.
in that case, it's maybe a good appointment. Time will tell.
I did read something this morning, mate. His first 5 at Brighton, he didn't win. He didn't win one out of his first 5.
Oh.
So, history, if you're a Spurs fan, history would not want to repeat itself in that respect. But
because the first thing you're going to do as a manager, I don't think you're going to get in and organise set plays or do this, that, do it. No. You're going to have to get them turned around with an attitude.
Correct. No, you are. Definitely.
Because
right.
I look at him, Andy, and Liverpool aside, and maybe the home game against Atletico Madrid, you would have to question, I keep going on about Archie Gray aside, you would have to question, do they look as though they're up for the fight? Because that's what they're in. They're in a fight, right? We know that down there. It's a fight. I've seen West Ham enough to know that they can handle it.
Yeah.
Not to say they won't go down, but they can handle a fight. Leeds are the exact same. Forest the exact same.
Mm-hmm.
Tottenham would still be the one for me that would have a question mark against them.
Well, they had the couple of games, the home game against Atletico Madrid and then the Liverpool game. They showed bits there that any manager coming through the door think, all right,
yeah,
I've got something there I can get my teeth stuck into, and I've got something there I can work with. But for too often they've been so disappointing, and most of them have looked like they've chucked it. Most of them have, because look, the truth of the matter is, if you're a player nowadays of some repute and they've got plenty of players in that bracket,
they'll be away.
The easiest way for them to get out of the club is if they 100%. Get relegated.
100%.
Be straight out the door.
Absolutely. And you know something? When you look at it, if they go down, some would argue it's all about keeping your best players. But if you look at what they did in the top flight, if they're not up for the fight, you may be better getting rid of them. If the attitude's not great,
Yeah, no, dead right. De Zerbi is one of those that I always look at him and I think, once I could see him coming through the door and having an impact, and as you said, quite rightly said, getting players tuned in very quickly. He's got to get that. I don't know how much. I don't know into how much detail he starts going into, the ins and outs of absolutely what he wants to do.
That's what I think.
How do you implement that?
That in 3, 4, 5, 6 games.
And do you do that now, or do you not think, right, just to start?
That is a summer job, mate.
Yeah, that is, isn't it? That is. But I do like the fella, and I do think that the problem Spurs will have is when he gets if he comes in and does well, he'll want everything. And look, and that's the best way a manager can be. They've got to be. He's a demanding guy, but I think you've only got to look at.
Well, if another great Conte or Pochettino or Nuno or Big Ange, are they going to start? I know there's a change at the top, but
they've had so many. So look, but I think on the face of it, it needed something. I would personally, if I was in that Tottenham, I would have just gone for someone now between now and the summer just to keep him in the division.
That's what I'd have done.
I'd have definitely probably just done that.
I've got to be honest, Andy, and that's exactly what I would have done.
Yeah.
I'd have got somebody that would absolutely lifted the place.
Yep.
Whether it was a Harry, whether it was a Chris Hughton, whether it was Glenn, whatever it may be.
Yep.
Just get the fans united, get the whole place, there's one of our own back.
Yeah.
Now, of course it doesn't guarantee you stay in the division.
No.
But I think the first thing it does, it unites you. Because there will be a kind of split still with the Tottenham fan base right now saying, I heard Jimmy Harris saying this, and there's no doubt about it. He can coach and he can manage, but it'll still be a question mark.
Of course there is. Yeah. Yeah, there will be.
I tell you what, it does beg a question. Why did they make the move, not the last move? Igor Tudor.
Yeah. Well, I think at that time, after he'd just come out of Marseille.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think at that time, Ali, I think the response maybe Spurs had got was that I wouldn't take it until the summer, until I know you've got Premier League status.
Yeah, maybe.
Right. And I think that's what it was at that point. However, it's moved on now, needs must. They've obviously got back in contact and said, look, you can have this, you can have that. Yes, you can bring this one, you can bring that guy in. He's going to bring he's bound to bring a small army of people in and around him.
Yeah.
And then, but with someone like Zerbi, I think they get very, he's an emotional guy, you can tell. And they get very animated very quickly when they don't have their own way. And that won't happen for a while, of course, because it's no time to stamp your feet here and there right now, because he's got his hands full with just trying to keep them up.
Well, you're spot on your assessment. I'm just reading it in front of me. Zerbi took 5 games to get his first win at Brighton.
Yeah.
And obviously Spurs are absolutely desperate at this moment in time for points. He's reportedly arriving in a club record 5-year deal, despite his reputation, as you correctly mentioned, for clashing with owners. talkSPORT understands Zerbi was hesitant until offered record-breaking money, and crucially, the choice to stay or walk if the club dropped into the Championship.
Wow, now that I don't get. I don't understand why.
No, neither do I.
The option to walk
because
out.
that is not for me. That's not a real level of commitment.
No chance. You can't. That to me seems very, very strange to say to him, here's the crown jewels, you've got 5 years, you can have this, you can have that. Yes. Of course, have all these little demands that the contract would throw up. Oh, and by the way, I want to jump out if
I'm with you.
If this is an absolute nightmare and they get relegated. Hold on a minute. No. Don't work that way. I'm very surprised they would allow that to happen. Very, very surprised. If that's true.
He's never been at a club longer than 3 years.
No.
But, time will tell, Andy, I've got to say, because they are banging it. I would say, was it Steve-O? No, we didn't. It was, I think it was Simon on yesterday, mate. And I think West Ham were just favourites to go down at even money. I think he told us that Tottenham were 11 to 10. I think it's between the two of them.
Yeah.
And I say, mate, I'd be leaning towards Tottenham at this moment in time.
Yeah,
definitely. Unless there's a dramatic change.
Yeah. Unless he can come in there and instantly just provide the players with a bit of inspiration. Because there's some talented boys there, Ali. When you actually started to look at the squad, I know they've had some bad injuries to some key boys, particularly up front in the forward areas, Spurs.
Oh, they have.
For years when we saw them when they had Son and Kane and Lucas Moura and people like that, whatever, that could all pacey and quick and could finish. And then up front at the moment, whether it's been...
Well, Solanke was out for a period. Madison's really struggled.
All those
Kulusevski. I mean, they have had horrendous injuries.
They've had bad injuries, but also some of the others I don't think are good enough.
Yeah.
I just don't think they're up to the level really for Spurs in that area. Around the rest of the park, they've got some good players.
Some talented boys.
So he's going to have to... He's I would imagine he's the sort of guy, Ali, that instantly will walk in and he'll grab them. He'll grab their attention and he'll absolutely let them know in no uncertain terms what is acceptable and what isn't.
Well, you're going to have to, mate. Spurs fans want to take your calls this morning. How are you feeling about Zerbi? Let us know. Is a Pochettino even dream over? Give us a call. Let us know your thoughts. 03717 223344. Up next, you'll hear from a frustrated Thomas Tuchel.
Chisora is retiring after this weekend, so maybe Del Boy can come in and do a better job than all these other guys.
Maybe.
I've also spoken to him. He's going to come in and walk up and down Simon's back this morning to try and sort that out.
Jason Schiffman, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Simon. How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
Good. Well, I wish you back better anyway.
Thank you, mate.
My view is that I think that we need to bring a manager in that's going to sign a contract so the players believe that manager is going to be there next season. I don't think it's a great look when you sign these managers up and they're only signed temporarily, because then all of a sudden the players don't seem to have the same respect for that manager, because they're thinking, well, he's not going to be here in a few weeks. Do I think that this guy can come in and do a job? I certainly hope so. I think the fans are behind the players at the moment. I think I saw an amazing atmosphere, even though we lost 3-0. And I just think this is still the team that got 4 points out of City this season. So the players in that squad that are capable of winning games, but we do need a manager that's capable of getting the best out of them.
Yeah, I mean you're on your final chance, are you not, Jason? It's critical now.
Listen, it's almost not in our hands, because if West Ham get that win, then all of a sudden we're in this position where we're looking.
Jason, just
around us.
Just a quick one here. So there's an element of concern about Zerbi. Do you share that concern? And who would you go for in this situation? Everyone's talking about maybe Glenn Hoddle or Tim Sherwood.
The reason a lot of fans that call up this show get the hump when they hear about Thomas Frank.
Deep down in Louisiana, close to New Orleans, way back up in the woods among the evergreens, there stood a log cabin made of earth and wood, where lived a country boy named Johnny B. Good, who never ever learned to read or write so well, but he could play a guitar
Okay, talkSPORT Breakfast, Ally and Andy with you this morning, 6:20. It's Tuesday the 31st of March. That, of course, is an absolute classic. Johnny Be Good by Chuck Berry.
What a great song.
Isn't it brilliant?
Brilliant song.
That'd be kind of right at the start of rock and roll, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would have been, yeah, definitely.
Well, I'm going to tell you. You can have a guess.
Go on.
When do you think it was released?
I would suggest Johnny Be Good would have probably been, Ali, for 1963, 4.
Well, I'm going to be brutally honest. I've got it in front of me. My guess would have been 62.
Right. Okay.
58.
Is it really? 58.
58. Wow. Johnny Be Good, Chuck Berry. You remember My Ding-a-Ling?
Yeah, My Ding-a-Ling.
My Ding-a-Ling. How did they get away with that?
There's a clip out on there, out on YouTube, wherever it is, of Chuck Berry with John Lennon and Yoko, right? And Yoko Ono starts singing halfway through his playing, and apparently Chuck Berry was one of those, a bit like James Brown, very demanding with his band.
Yes.
Everyone had to be absolutely tight and in sync and all together. She starts singing, and she's her first note, Ali, is right up there. It makes Barry Gibb sound like Lee Marvin.
Right. Crystal glasses shattering everywhere.
Oh, she's right up there, and his head nearly comes off as he looks at her. Honestly, look at it, it's ever so good.
I will do.
And I think John's just got his head, John Lennon's just strumming away, he's just got his head down a bit, thinking, oh dear love, you need to come down a little. Come down a peg.
3 or 4 octaves.
Yeah.
Right, let's have a look at today's back pages.
Back page review on talkSPORT.
Angelina, good morning.
Good morning. I know exactly what clip you're talking about.
Do you? I know.
Oh,
you know,
it's so cringe.
Yeah.
It's so cringe. She is just belting it out, and they're all looking around like, what is going on?
Where's she going with this one?
Yeah, it is quite funny, yeah. But yeah, back pages. We've got Pant and Deck, Tuchel.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, all this talk about Arsenal players, basically. These Arsenal players that are pulling out. Tuchel has admitted that England's World Cup hopes are at risk from burnout, revealed that Rice has been playing at 70% capacity. Saka played the League Cup final in pain. They're not available for tonight's game. They're back at Arsenal. It's about 10 Arsenal players now that have withdrawn from international duty during this break.
Yeah.
Some people are seeing it as suspicious, but Tuchel has had his say.
Declan reported he went even out on the pitch to try, but it's a moment of the season where I am also not willing to take any risk with him. Then Arsenal need to decide for themselves how much risk they're taking. I am not willing to take this risk for my key player. I have no reason not to believe Declan, not to trust Declan. We have a very open and honest relationship, and Bukayo tried. He played with pain through the final, which we could see. He confirmed it straight away after the final. We will not push players now with 70% through a friendly match. Because they will be judged. If once you arrive on the pitch, once you play, you're judged, and you're judged like you're fit, and he's clearly not a 100%. So it was clear for me that it's better for him to rest.
So a lot of people seem quite annoyed about Rice and Saka dropping out, even though Tuchel was happy for them to go back to Arsenal. Can you see why, maybe?
I must admit, part of me thinks, Angelina, yes, I think he's doing the right thing if they're saying they got niggles and they're a little bit sore or they're knackered, whatever. But you think they'd stay in the camp?
Good treatment there.
Because Bellingham's not fit to play tonight, I don't think. But he's still, I think, within the camp.
But round the corner from a World Cup, you'll be talking not only about the game they're about to play against Japan, but about what's happening over the next month, what's happening in 6 weeks' time when they're all getting ready. If there's certain things they want to look at from previous matches, they can do that because they're still together. That's the only bit I thought found
See, I can understand them. I hear what you're saying, but I can also understand them.
Arsenal wanting them back.
Aye. I can totally understand the Arsenal physio want to see them twice a day, 3 times a day. I get that as well. And the first thing I would say, and you know what I'm going to say here, I think you could count, honestly, I don't know how many games you played, Andy. We played hundreds of games. I think you can count in one hand the times you're 100%.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no. That
right, you're always carrying something.
100% right. Yeah.
But I don't have a problem with it, right? Because let's not kid ourselves on. Andy, we're talking. Angie, this has been happening for years.
It has.
Right. This has been happening for years.
This is nothing new. No.
Particularly particularly for friendlies.
Yeah.
Right. More so with friendlies, you'd have to say. That games that, you know, I wouldn't say aren't important, but they're not life and death points for qualification for Euros or World Cups. And Thomas Tuchel knows exactly what Declan and Bukayo Saka can do. Right. They'll win the squad. There's no doubt about that. They'll win the squad.
They'll be in the team, aren't they?
Yeah. So he knows.
Yeah, and I guess that's a part of a lot of these Arsenal players that have dropped out. The ones that have been in the qualifiers, like Calafiori, for example, Norgard, Gyökeres, they are all still with their nations.
Yes.
So you would think that, speaking about England, speaking about the other nations, they are aware of what all these stars can do. I'm pretty sure that Don Carlo is aware of what Gabriel can do, you know, for example. So I do think, you know, you have to weigh it up, but it's such a key part of the season. I guess, do these friendlies that do they get away? Do they get in the way a little bit when you're competing for?
I told you. I called them yesterday a necessary evil. That's exactly what they are. From the international coach's point of view, you know, they're really important. Of course they are. But he knows. He'll know 17, 18 of his 26, whatever it is. It's 26 now, isn't it? He probably might even know more than that. He probably know 20. So effectively, as I said earlier, I don't think it's a big deal for Thomas Tuchel. It's not ideal.
No.
I get that. But it's not the biggest problem in the world, because he's effectively looking at 6, 7 players to see how they do on and off the pitch. So, you know, I don't think they're important games for him, and they're just a disaster for every Premier League manager.
And also, Ali, Angelina, you run the risk of letting someone else come in and grab your shirt. You do.
True.
You do. I don't think that's going to happen with Declan Rice and maybe to a fraction, slightly lesser degree, Bukayo Saka. But for some of those other Arsenal boys, for their international prospects going forward, if you miss out on matches and others come in and pick it up and play great, then
there's a risk,
there is always a little bit of risk attached to not turning up, to not going, and to not being part of it.
Well, it's on that, just a quick one. I think you're right. I think a year ago, Saka's a 95% starter.
Yes.
I don't think he's that now.
Not quite as... I think
maybe 75.
Declan's absolutely going to be in there, 100%.
Madieke's come into the equation big time.
There's a lot of those boys, Ali, now that have come in and picked up and played well. Now, if it's an opportunity tonight, someone else playing in those positions, to step up and show absolutely what they're about.
Brilliant, Angelina. Thank you very much. That was a look at the morning's back pages. Coming up, we're going to head stateside and ask whether the big question is Moses Atalma really the next Mike Tyson? That's a big question.
Ooh,
that's a big ask.
It's a big question, that.
Back on Thursday, Simon and Willie exchanged a fair bit of banter in the boxing hour on that day going into the fight.
I said, I think you're going to get beat, is what I said, Willie.
Is that what you said?
I did, yeah. I did. I'm happy to eat crow.
Simon, have you ever boxed a day in your life?
No, I haven't, no.
You should have no comment on boxing whatsoever. You should leave it to the boxers.
We will see.
Because you've never had a fight in your life.
We will see. And when you have an opinion on something in life that you've never done, we can have a conversation about that as well.
The only thing you can box, Simon, listen to me. The only thing you can box is box in Tesco's shopping centre. Well, that's what you can box.
Willie, if you lose that fight, you'll probably be working in there.
You shouldn't give any... but I've got plenty.
Good.
I don't need to
well,
go
let's
anywhere.
see you win.
I don't do this for the money. I do it for peace.
Good, fantastic, good. So when we see on Monday, if you've won, you'll be able to say all this. But don't lose, Willie, now. Don't lose. Whatever you do, don't lose.
But Simon, if you've never boxed a day in your life, and you've never felt a punch in your face, you should have no comment to boxing.
I'm not allowed an
ever in
opinion.
your life.
I'm not allowed an opinion.
Forget about this.
I'm not
You're
allowed
not
an opinion.
an opinion because you've never boxed.
Okay.
You don't know.
All right. Well, hopefully my opinion will mean
you
nothing.
should keep to the
Willie.
football.
But if I'm wrong, if I'm right, Willie, you are going to eat some crow, buddy.
Well, he didn't need to eat anything because the scores were wide, 99, 91, 98, 92, 98, 92. So, Willie, you got out of that shift at Tesco on Sunday. Well done. Good morning.
Definitely. I got out of it nice and clear. Thank God I don't need to work in Tesco's no more. And we're on to the next one.
Every spring, sports fans in Europe come together to celebrate arguably rugby's biggest annual tournament, the Six Nations. But why is it the home nations, plus France and Italy, and no one else? It all started back in 1871 when Scotland beat England in the very first international rugby match. A few years later, when they could field a team, Wales decided they'd host England and an idea was thought up. With Ireland keen, they formed the Home International Championship, which ran from 1883. In 1910, France was allowed to join, as they were developing into a serious rugby nation, and thus the Five Nations was born. France had an interesting history with the championship. They were actually booted out for paying their players in 1931, when the home nations were keen to keep it amateur. After World War II, though, France were let back in, but it remained a closed shop for more than 50 years. And when another country was let in, it was only really because the Five Nations hand had been forced. Italy was developing into a serious contender, beating Scotland, France and Ireland twice in the same year, meaning in 1999 officials got together and said yes to Italy, and it became the Six Nations. So what changes, if any, come next? 7 nations? 8? A promotion and relegation system? Or should we leave it alone and let it remain the great rugby tradition it's become?
Yesterday, all my troubles seem so far away. Now it looks as though they're here to stay. Oh, I believe in yesterday. Suddenly, I'm not half the man I used to be.
Magic. Oh, great show. I'm reading this. Okay.
Go on, what are you reading? What are you reading?
One of the boys is wrong. Oh, come on, he's not put a name on it. Ali, here's me thinking Monday after a 6.5-hour drive to start a job, using every muscle in my body to get in at 9 last night to the digs, tired and thinking, who does this to survive? But Roo Randy done it with his best round of his golf.
Very true. Very true.
That is magnificent.
And he said it's a bit breezy as well. It's a bit breezy.
I don't know who you are, but you deserve a name check.
Yeah,
and listen, if it's any consolation, get yourself a cup of tea and be safe in the knowledge that I'll be fanning Andy down to make sure he's okay for the rest of the programme. That's brilliant. This is talkSPORT Breakfast with Arnold Clark. Oh man, there's over 20,000 used cars online to choose from. So they will have the car for you. Ally and Andy with you this morning. A bit of Yesterday, of course, by the Beatles. But why are we playing it this morning? Here's an interesting one. A story has caught our eye in the Sun involving Beatles Sir Paul McCartney, explaining he has received a social media platform ban.
Right, has he?
Paul took to Reddit.
Reddit? Yes.
That's exactly what I said. To post some photos from a no phones gig he did in Los Angeles. But the website had thought it was spam and has since barred him from the platform. Hey, that'd be brilliant. Sir Paul, imagine having that in your CV. Imagine telling the grandkids, that's me banned. That's me banned off that social media platform.
Yeah.
That's something to tell the kids, isn't it?
Not many, it is, yeah. Oh, brilliant, though. That is. I'm sure wouldn't they be quickly getting back in touch and saying, Paul, you're all right. You can.
Do we know what Reddit is? No. What is?
Well, I
thought it was. You know what I thought it was? I thought it was one of these things you go and buy houses.
I thought it was something. If you ask a question, all of a sudden, like loads of people will tell you where to go and find this or how to do that or whatever.
If you want to buy a 12-inch saucepan and stuff like that.
Correct. Something like that.
Okay.
12-inch saucepan. 12-inch saucepan.
I'm still laughing at messages. That guy's getting up with sympathy for you after a round. Right, we're moving swiftly on, Andy boy.
Come on.
The heavyweight boxing just keeps coming, and this Saturday an icon will fall as Derek Chisora collides with the bronze bomber Deontay Wilder. So let's look ahead to the big fight right now with DAZN.
Big fight build-up on talkSPORT with DAZN. Watch Derek Chisora versus Deontay Wilder this Saturday, only on DAZN. Buy now at DAZN.com.
Okay, interesting enough. This is a nice wee statistic, actually. Both men step into the ring for the 50th fight of their professional careers, combining obviously for a century of bouts between them. For more on this, delighted to say joining you now is the founder of the Fight Hub TV, Marcus Villegas. Good morning, Marcus. How are you?
I'm great, man. How you guys doing?
We're in top form, Marcus. We're in top form. Thank you very, very much for joining us. Now, before we go on to the Chisora Wilder fight, Marcus, I want to take you back to the weekend and ask you your views on Atoma versus Franklin.
Yeah, you know what? Moses, super impressive. And I understand why the hype is there with him. You know, you got a heavyweight that is just starching opponents that, when compared to other heavyweights that have been champions or former champions, completely obliterating them compared to them. So I understand the hype. I get it. I think at this point, they're still doing a great job in building him up and giving him the right opponents. Like I'm a fan of developing fighters. I don't like throwing them in there too quickly, even though I think he would do very well against like the Usyks, the Wardleys of the world at this point, but he's still young. I hear the calls from the fans to push him into a title shot. Obviously, he's climbing the rankings, but me personally, I want to say, you know, pump the brakes a little bit. Let him develop a little bit more. But certainly Moses at this point has passed the eye test. He's must-watch TV, and he's going to give a lot of people a run for their money. He already has, but in terms of the top five, I feel he's going to give people a run for their money, and he can go ahead and compete right now.
It's an interesting one, Marcus, because they're trying to say, well, we'd like to see him in the ring a little bit longer, try and get one or two opponents that will keep him in the ring a little bit longer. To be fair to him, though, he's had 12 stoppages in 14, so he's doing everything right.
No, he is. And yeah, you know, obviously, if you're a trainer or like you're looking at the development of a fighter, yeah, you want him to get more rounds, but hey, they don't pay for overtime. That's the saying, right? Yeah. You know, you get people in there, you get them out of there. Like the longer a fight can go, obviously things can go wrong, even though he's done everything right. But eventually he will meet with someone that will take him into deep waters, and then we'll see what happens. That goes back to the prior point. When he gets in that situation where he's in the 11th, 12th round of a championship fight, we're going to see if the growing process has really worked. And that's why I'm saying, like, don't push him too quick. Let him develop.
Yeah, no doubt he's brilliant for the division, isn't he? I mean, he's great. He's fantastic for it. Looking ahead to the one at the weekend, Derek Chisora and Deontay Wilder, Marcos, two guys at the other end of the scale completely, two real warriors. Who's in the best shape going into this one?
You know, it's a tough one. I want to say just based on the last fight that they've both had, Chisora is, like, I'm impressed for someone that's had as many fights. And in terms of boxing, you know, it's a young man's game. In terms of his age, certainly he's young in life. Chisora got a gas tank that goes and goes and goes. And if he puts that pace on there and he's really in shape against Deontay, I really worry for Deontay and what could potentially happen in this fight for him, to be honest.
Well, Chisora's already said, I think, Marcos, that this will be his last fight. I mean, and I'm guessing if he wins the fight, there won't really be anywhere to go for Deontay either, will there?
Yeah, that's a tough one. I know over here in the States, fans have questioned why he's continuing to fight, and fans have called for him to retire, saying, maybe you've seen better days. Those Fury fights, the 3 fights, took a lot out of Deontay. He didn't look great against Zhang in the last fights that he had. He didn't look too good as well. Why continue fighting? But I think, certainly I guess it depends how he loses, right? If he gets knocked out, then obviously, but if he's in there competitive and he looks decent, maybe he could stretch it out a little bit more. But for the fans in the U.S., a lot of them are asking, like, why do this? Why continue, given the last few fights, the results he's had, and the way he's looked in those last few fights?
Where would he rank for you, Marcos, Deontay Wilder, in terms of American heavyweights? Where would you put him?
Well, like in the pantheon of all the other heavyweights?
Of all some of the, because I'll be honest with you. Look, I know he had that spell where he was the most feared kind of heavyweight on the planet, and then Fury come along, and I thought beat him in all 3 personally. But I just wonder where you guys actually sit him and see him in terms of some of the all-timers.
To be honest, he's. I want to say this the most respectful way possible. Like he's not in the echelon of a Mike Tyson, of Joe Frazier, of a George Foreman, of the greats. Though what I can say, in comparison to all the heavyweights in history, pound for pound, he's probably the hardest punching heavyweight. And credit to him, he ignited the heavyweight scene in America when it was completely dull and dead. He injected it with excitement. So I think fans are grateful to Wilder because of that. But if you rank him amongst the look, you got Ali, you got Frazier, you got Foreman.
Yeah, you got some
you got Tyson. Like, I feel like that's kind of a hard task to put him in that same category.
Yeah,
given the skills and the fights we've seen from Deontay. But in terms of knockout power and what he did to reinvigorate, a tip of the cap to him in terms of that.
Quick prediction from you, Marcos, please. What do you think?
This is a tough one. This is my initial reaction. I think I when the fight was announced, and I think I'm going to go with this one. I'm going to go with Chisora.
Yeah.
In his last fight, he looked really good. I'm really impressed with the gas tank, the cardio that he has. And I just think at this point, it might be a wrong style. Yes, Deontay's always a live dog. He can always set you up with that right hand. But I feel like at this point, a lot of people have figured out how to take that away from him. And I just see Chisora grinding it out, making it rough. And hey, maybe he gets a stoppage around 9, 10, 11, 12. But I would be pretty confident to go ahead and pick Chisora for this last dance of his as the winner in this fight.
Brilliant, Marcos. Thanks very much for your time this morning. Enjoy the fight.
Appreciate it, guy. Thank you so much.
Take care. That was founder of Fight Hub, Marcos Villegas there. You can hear Chisora versus Wilder. It's live from the O2 Arena in London during a talkSPORT Fight Night special. Coverage, of course, starts at 7 p.m. on talkSPORT 2 before moving to talkSPORT at 10 p.m. Coming up, we're going to find out the latest Chelsea star to cast doubt on their future. That was a look ahead to Chisora versus Wilder versus with DAZN. And don't you forget, you can watch it live, as I said, this Saturday, only on DAZN. Buy now at DAZN.com.
Big fight build-up on talkSPORT with DAZN. Watch Derek Chisora versus Deontay Wilder this Saturday, only on DAZN. Buy now at DAZN.com.
Thomas Tuchel has a whole lot fewer Arsenal players than he might have imagined in the coming days, because 10 Arsenal players have now withdrawn, not just from England duty, but from international duty. Eze, Gabriel, Hincapié, Madueke, Rice, Saka, Saliba, Timber, Trossard, Zubimendi. 4 Arsenal players had originally pulled out of international duty at the start of last week, a day after the Carabao Cup final, a match that they lost to Manchester City. They were Gabriel with a knee injury, Saliba, recurring pain in his left ankle, Trossard, a hip injury, and Eze, a calf problem. Now Zubimendi and Hincapié are the latest to withdraw. In fact, both Saka and Rice joined the England camp on Friday, but didn't feature in the draw with Uruguay on the same day, and now they've withdrawn. Sir Alex Ferguson used to remove players from international duty. In 2011, he described friendlies as a waste of time. Arsenal invincible Martin Keown is in our midst. Martin, are Arsenal being hit with a disastrous injury crisis, or is Arteta doing a Fergie?
Well, there's a lot of players that are injured going into this international. I hope that you're not making it as an inference that Arsenal are deliberately taking players out, because I think they're genuinely injured, Jim. So let's just go for each one. So Eze didn't make the cup final.
Do you think all of them are genuinely injured?
Ødegaard didn't make the cup final. They've been disappointed to have done so. I think there was another player in there as well. So 3 players missed the cup final. Zubimendi actually he played in the first game for Spain. He's got injured in that game. So
Right, 6:48, Tuesday, 31st of March. Ally and Andy with you this morning. What do we know this Tuesday morning? Well, I'm about to tell you. Chelsea suffered another setback in keeping the star players after defender Marc Cucurella revealed he'd be open for a reunion with former club. But what is it about these foreign players nipping away in international duty and they can't keep the mouth shut?
It's true. Very true.
Isn't it?
Where's he talking about going? Where's he talking?
Barcelona.
Going back to Barca. Well, was he from Barca? Is that where he come from? Don't know. Brighton, obviously.
Yeah.
But I don't know where
Not
he was
sure.
before that. Not sure. No.
I like him though.
Do you know, he's one of those, he's annoying to watch, isn't he? Or if you was playing against him, and I tell you what, for opposing fans.
Exactly.
But he's a good little player. That is undoubted, Ali. He's a very talented little player.
He is. He's one of those boys, if he's in your team, you love him.
If you're against him. And if you touch him and he throws himself up in the air, and the hair goes back and he's rolling around on the floor, but he's a good little player. He is a very good little player. I'll give him that.
Here's an interesting one.
Go on.
It's understood Max Verstappen can leave Red Bull if he's placed outside the World Championship top 2 by the summer break. I think he's got the toys right at the pram, Max, isn't he? He doesn't like this new hybrid engine, and he's making it very, very public.
Again, I mean, he's been so dominant in the sport for the last, how long now? What's it been? 4 years? 3 or 4?
4 years.
4 years. And you know, I read something the other day that's saying he might even think about coming out of the sport.
Well, it was Damon Hill. I read Damon Hill, when Damon Hill ranks he should take it could maybe take a wee break. Because a few of them have done that, don't they? A few of them do that.
Yeah, they do.
Okay, and this summer's World Cup faces unprecedented drone and cyber threats. A senior US official has warned. World Cup Task Force boss Andrew Giuliani told The Sun's editor-at-large Harry Cole that rising global tensions are now putting fan safety at direct risk. This would be a worry.
America is expecting the largest travel summer in our history, with both the World Cup and our 250th birthday, all the incredible events around that. It's so key that we have a TSA that's able to function. But think about all the cyber attacks that end up happening during a World Cup. You could just see this over the last bunch of World Cup. It ends up being one of the most attacked potential events throughout our 4 years over here. So we're expecting billions of cyber attacks. We need a functioning CISA to end up opening up. From a counter UAS perspective, we've seen in some of the foreign wars just how the technology is evolving so rapidly on attack drones, right? For us, making sure the stadiums, making sure the fan festivals, the hotels, they're all protected from counter UAS, along with just the regular stadium security. We want to make sure that everybody who, whether you're an American citizen or not, is able to come to the World Cup, come to the United States, enjoy it, and go back with a great story. That means going back with your life.
Well, there you go. Don't forget you can listen to the full interview on Harry Cole Saves West YouTube channel. That's an interesting one. For more on this, join us, talkSPORT's US Sports writer Brian T. Smith. Brian, a very good morning to you.
Ally, good morning. It's always good to see you. How's it going?
Great to see you. Everything's good, Brian. Thanks very much again for taking the time to join us. Brian, not wanting to make light of the situation, which indeed I'm not, but it sounds very much like the Homeland security boys won't be getting a day off.
I would not want to be going through an airport right now in the United States of America. Thankfully, I'm in the UK. It does appear that they are starting to get this fixed. But look, I've been on talkSPORT talking about this for months. The biggest question of the World Cup right now is not who is going to win it, whether it's England or Spain or maybe can USA get into the quarterfinals. The biggest question right now, Ally, is can they successfully pull off a World Cup, and not just the USA, but the United States of America, Mexico, and Canada. They love to tell everybody this is the biggest World Cup ever. We've never seen anything like it. But all we have heard for months now are questions about visa and safety. You have everything going on in Iran right now. You still have everything going on in the Ukraine. There is a lot of chaos in the world. And I specifically asked Tab Ramos this for talkSPORT, who, many of your fans will know from the 94 team. Cool. And Tab was saying that, look, whatever you think of the war in Iran, nobody knows what goes on day to day in this world anymore. There's so much chaos. So we have to have some stability before the World Cup, or I won't be surprised what happens, because nobody knows what's going to happen in the world right now, and that's not a fun place to be.
I mean, it's actually a little, when you put it like that, it's a little bit scary, Brian, because the vast majority of us over here, myself included, are just absolutely very much looking forward to the tournament, travelling all over the States, a little bit of Mexico, a little bit of Canada. And perhaps in many ways, myself and maybe a few people like us kind of take that kind of security and welfare for granted.
Yeah, and look, every country has issues. Nothing is perfect. I do know that, having lived in the U.S. for 40 plus years, when the U.S. is on its game, we can debate whether it's the greatest country in the world, but the facilities, everything is top notch. That's why the FIFA wants the World Cup in the U.S. It's to make a lot of money, but also to show off the game in the United States of America. I hope, and I have to believe, and I want to have some pride here, that the U.S. can get this all figured out. They've got to get the TSA situation figured out. You have to have security. You have to be safe. I've always said the biggest thing, Ally, is that if you're a traveling supporter, if you're coming from Europe, if you're coming from anywhere in the globe, you want to go to the U.S. and have an incredible time and feel safe and say, hey, this was the best World Cup ever. I want to come back. They've got to create that atmosphere. I think they're going to do it, but we're getting pretty close to the wire right now.
Yeah, and in view of recent events, Brian, what's been going on with Iran, you'd have thought that the authorities in the States would be even more vigilant. They would be putting even more powers in place to ensure the safety of the travelling fans, of the teams that are involved, and doubling down on absolutely everything to ensure that the tournament is a huge success and passes off very peacefully. Now, again, that's going to be difficult because it's spread so far and so wide. That's not an easy task to undertake. But if any country could perhaps do that, you would have thought right now the US would be on it.
Yeah, and I do know for a fact when I was in Houston dealing with when Houston got the World Cup bid, and I was covering this for the Houston Chronicle guys, this is years in place. They always say that one World Cup match is like a Super Bowl. So you're talking about more than 100 Super Bowls. The security, and Roger Goodell will tell you the NFL, the safest place in the world is the Super Bowl because of all the security and all the checks, and you can't even get close to the stadium unless you have a ticket. I do believe they will get this worked out, but they've got to get this worked out now. You can't do it the week of the World Cup.
Brian, swiftly, I want to move on to Tab Ramos. You had a lovely sit down with Tab Ramos. First thing I'd like to ask you, how is he? We all remember the incident,
yes.
with the tragic, and it could have been a lot worse. But first thing I'd ask you, how is he and how did the interview go?
I really appreciate it. He's doing fantastic. We have this all covered at talksport.com, our social channels at TalkSport USA. Had an exclusive 30-minute sit down with Tab Ramos. He talked about the past, he talked about the current, the future, the 26 World Cup. It's at our YouTube page and talksport.com. He's doing great. I mean, he's still heavily involved with U.S. soccer, or football as we call it here. Yeah. He knows the current game. He's up on Pochettino. He believes the team should make the round of 16. And the question is, can Mauricio Pochettino take this team farther? But the best part of talking to Tab Ramos was obviously 1994. And I don't know. I mean, maybe you can top it. But I don't know if I've heard a story as good as Tab's to where, in 1994, the first World Cup of the United States of America, the World Cup, as you know, that really properly introduced football, English football, to the United States of America. It's halftime. They're playing Brazil. It's 0-0 in California. And Leonardo from Brazil gets a little frustrated, pops his elbow back, and fractures Tab's skull on the pitch. And the best part of it, the craziest part, in retrospect, now that Tab is healthy and fine, is the fact that his coach wanted him to go back in at halftime, and the doctor's like, no, he's going to the hospital right now because he could end up dying. It briefly changed his career. He had an amazing career, an amazing run as a player, and then was eventually an MLS coach and an assistant coach. But that's one of the most fascinating stories I've heard in World Cup history, and it's all at talksport.com.
Well, we're going to watch it, Brian, that's for sure. Thanks very much for joining
Brian.
us. Hopefully catch up soon, mate. All the best.
Cheers.
Ali, do you remember very quickly, Tommy Coyne, when we played Italy, Giant Stadium, right, when we played Italy that day, after the game, because it was so ferociously hot that day, it was incredibly hot, and I think we were flying down to Orlando directly after the game. On the flight, Tommy was in in agony, excruciating pain. He's like because he was so massively dehydrated. Jesus. Brain started to swell. Yeah, and I tell you what, he was really poorly for a bit, Tom. He was absolutely fine, and once we landed and they obviously whipped him away, and he was seen to by doctors, medics, and everything else. But yeah, for a while he was really bad, and that's purely out of dehydration. That, and we're going to have a lot of that again this summer.
100%, mate.
You've got to be very, very
100%,
careful.
100%, mate. Okay, don't forget to read Brian's article on Tab Ramos, which is over on talksport.com. Still to come on Breakfast this morning.
Superstar Breakfast preview on TalkSport with Travis Perkins. Download the new improved app to easily manage your accounts and quotes.
Okay, with 11 Arsenal stars pulling out of international duty, the club versus country row has exploded. TalkSport's Gabby Bonlahaw, he was at the centre of it yesterday. He's demanding players' bans, while Thomas Tuchel admits the timing looks a little suspicious.
If I was part of the Premier League and I'd make a decision, I'd bring in a new rule. You miss the next league game available if you pull out of international duty. And I'll tell you something, Gally, players will stop pulling out.
Given the situation at Arsenal, it looks a bit suspicious, but I can only talk for our players.
Okay.
But if you pull out of international duty with a tick, if you get the tick off of a dock, then you're out, aren't you?
Exactly. That's
you're not going to be able to do anything about that.
And there are, I said to Gabby, I take his point.
Yeah, I do too.
But at the same time, we've all had injuries where it's only maybe 9 days, 8 days, you know what I mean? Wee niggles, whatever it may be. Okay, well, England goes strong as they can tonight against Japan. It's live on TalkSport. More than that coming up in around 15 minutes. That was our breakfast preview with our very good friends at Travis Perkins.
Superstar Breakfast preview on TalkSport with Travis Perkins. Get free next day track delivery. Head to travisperkins.co.uk or download the app.
And this is the fourth shortest reign of any Premier League manager. Just 5 days longer than Ange at Forest and 35 longer than 9-day Tudor Queen Lady Jane Grey. Oh no, you're taking a mickey now. And for a bit more context, it's thought that the average human would be able to walk from London to the heart of the Swiss Alps in such time as Tudor has been in charge. I don't want to know who worked that one out. We're going to take a call on it. Somebody that's called 03717 223344. It's Eli. Eli, very good morning to you. Thanks for taking the time to call us this morning. Is this the right thing that's happened, Eli?
Yeah, good morning. Talking about Tottenham Hotspur now, my club that I've supported over maybe 50 odd years.
Yeah.
What I'm saying to you is, picking the manager, I'm not sure which type of manager you want for the next 7 games, but I don't think it would hurt for a massive football reset, a Tottenham Hotspur reset, to actually go down.
Oh, that's a heck of a statement to make, Eli, because I don't think there's any guarantees you come back up, mate. Are you saying you could go down, spend a couple of years down there, rebuild and come back up? Is that what you're saying?
Ali, yeah, good morning to you, sir. I support Hearts, my Scottish team as well, so good luck to them on Saturday. But yeah, back to Tottenham Hotspur. Yeah, yes, Ali, I feel we might not with the...
What football ground are you thinking of when someone says this?
Really tough place to go. Difficult place to go. Such a tough place to go.
It's a tough place to go at the moment.
It was a really difficult place to go, always.
But what are the toughest places to go, really? We've scoured the planet to find out. Forget a cold, wet Tuesday night in Stoke. Try playing in a blizzard 220 miles inside the Arctic Circle at the world's northernmost professional club. When Chelsea lost at Tromsø in Norway in the 97-98 Cup Winners' Cup, a massive snowstorm hit at half-time. These two boys and their brooms were absolutely no match for it. We're staying in Scandinavia for Scotland's toughest away day on a windswept cliff in the Faroe Islands. In Euro 2000 qualifying, Craig Brown's men were taken to fishing village Toftir. Kevin Gallagher called the pitch a cowfield and the wind like Pittodrie on a bad day. The Faroe Islands part-timers equalised in stoppage time, leading to these absolute scenes, and still one of Scotland's most embarrassing results.
Daft little ground, silly game.
But away trips don't come any tougher than a lung-busting schlep up the Andes to face Bolivia in La Paz. But now the Bolivians have taken home advantage to another level. The country's highest city, El Alto, 4,100 metres above sea level. Grass doesn't even grow up here. Bolivia have not lost here yet. The longest unbeaten run in any professional league ever belongs to Red Star Belgrade, or Crvena Zvezda if you must. They've gone 7 years without defeat at the Rajko Mitic in Serbia's Superliga. Their fans are pretty intimidating as well, but they're not as loud as this mob. Galatasaray's Ali Sami Yen Stadium's officially the loudest in world football. In a derby with Fenerbahce, Galatasaray fans set a Guinness World Record of 131 decibels. That's louder than Motorhead, and pretty tough to carry out your manager's instructions when you can't even hear them. However, our most intimidating away day is in Wales, where cameras can't enter and players can't leave. HMP Prescoed. This prison team was briefly kicked out the Gwent League over concerns about young opposition having to go in there. Now that's a tough place to go.
Early June 1939, Germany, always a tough place to go to.
That's going to clear everything up, that daylight thing. I'm so pleased that's in you and coming in. That's made me so happy. They just had a vote, by the way, yesterday. I think I was listening to the boys in the afternoon, Paul and Andy, and I think it was 96 or something like that % of football fans are not happy with the product of VAR, and I think it hasn't enhanced the game at all or made it any more attractive to watch. And we're now going for this daylight thing. I mean, what's the difference?
Well, it's still going to be marginal decisions that we're going to have to get the lines out, and we're going to be drawing. Is
it going to be easier to spot?
Or I think you would like to think then that that there might be a quicker turnaround perhaps with some of those decisions.
I mean, I've got to say, some of the lines. I mean, see up in Scotland, the lines look as though they're getting drawn by a 2-year-old kid with a crayon. Do you know what I mean?
Do you remember the old Etcher sketch? Do you remember one of them? You used to turn the two knobs and it used to draw a little black line. Do you remember?
I had one.
Yeah.
I had the one that was called 1001 Faces with a magnetic field, and this wee pen that used to pull guy used to give him a beard and a moustache and things like that.
If he does, but you're right. Listen, look, so we'll see. One of the things I'd like clarified straight away as well is when the linesman keeps the flag down, Ali, when it's a blatant offside.
I hate that.
And everybody in the stadium's going, come on, get the flag up, get the flag. And then he waits, and the fella takes a shot and the goal.
Hi, after he's ran 411 yards.
Yeah, and then the flag goes up. Now look, it's not their fault, the officials. They're just having to do what they're told. But can we get rid of that one as well, by the way? When it's a blatant offside and the lino knows it, but he's still running back with the attacker who's now we know the flag's going to go up. Get that flag up a bit quicker.
Yeah, but that new one with the space between players, that'll solve everything.
Hey, I've got a quick question for a text topic here.
Great.
So we want some text, 81089. I saw yesterday something about Bernardo Silva, right? Just very quickly before we move on. Because I think I read yesterday that he might be leaving City this summer, whatever.
He's been brilliant.
And what a great little player he is.
Tremendous footballer.
Tremendous player. David Silva or Bernardo Silva?
Ooh.
Who do the City fans love more?
It's like picking your favourite child. I mean, it's a remarkable question at a stage in the morning.
Well, there you go. Look, it's early doors. It's 7:08.
What have you
and I fired that one.
City fans up and down the country holding their heads.
So come on,
even.
Text us, please. 81089. Text us. David Silva or Bernardo Silva, if it comes to it. Who would you pick?
Who are you going for? I'm going for David.
I thought you might say David. Yeah.
And by the way, I love the wee man.
And
it's tough. It's tough.
It's a tough call, that one, isn't it?
That's tough.
Probably not for the City fans. Probably, do you know what the City?
Get the Gallagher brothers on. I want to know.
They might be a bit.
No, give us a call. Yeah, we want to know.
They might be a bit more categorical and just go, no, it's David. David straight away. Whatever. But I think Bernardo, some little player.
That's a debate. Yeah. Probably Bernardo has one more, but that probably shouldn't come into the equation.
Yes,
we're talking about value to the club.
Yeah,
legacy,
and everything. The way they played, the way they, look. Both of them absolutely outstanding. David Silva was amazing. Look, I've had one. David Silva, not even a question. Stop being dramatic, says David. Hold on, David.
Oh, David, I'll be dramatic if I want, by the way.
We might be a bit dramatic, but he's saying it's David all day long, not even a question.
Interesting. Right, we're here with our good friends at Arnold Clark. Browse the UK's best used car deals and score more for your dream car today. Check out the website for more details. Ally and Andy with you this morning. Now, Spurs have broken through in talks with former Brighton boss Roberto De Zerbi, and they look to give him a lucrative 5-year deal with a hefty bonus should they manage to keep them in the league. Jamie O'Hara was in the sports bar last night and has called for Spurs fans to be grateful for the opportunity to have De Zerbi.
I think Spurs fans need to be realistic of the where we're at right now. We are not Spurs who are 4th or 5th in the table and trying to get a Mourinho or a Conte. We are Spurs who are 17th in the table and staring down the barrel of Championship football. To get a Roberto De Zerbi, I think is a massive bonus for us. We were talking about getting Harry Redknapp and Tim Sherwood. We're talking about Ryan Mason coming back in. We were literally scratching around going, who can we get? I think the fact that you're going to get a De Zerbi, I think it's a brilliant appointment.
I think he'd be good for Spurs, this bloke. I really do. I think Roberto De Zerbi will be a good appointment. The bit I don't get...
In the long run.
We've had a couple of texts already. Someone saying, of course he's got a get-out clause. if they get relegated.
I know.
Hold on a minute. Why are you giving someone a 5-year deal and then giving him a get out in a month's time? Just because
one of the boys has been on as if it's the norm.
It's ridiculous. You shouldn't have to. What's the point of that? You're going to be in even more chaos going into the summer.
Correct. 100%, mate.
That I don't understand at all why you'd want. I think if you're sitting down with Zerbi now and you're giving him the 5-year deal, you're opening the doors and saying, "Here it all is. Come and be our main man
and beat it if it doesn't work out."
Come on,
madness. Okay, a bit more than this we're going to expect from Zerbi. Let's bring a European football expert, Dougie Critchley. Dougie, good morning.
Good morning, guys. Hello, great to be here.
Great to see you, mate. Thanks very much again for taking the time to join us this morning. First of all, what do you think of the move, and do you think it will be a success?
Well, I kind of agree with you guys. I think it might well be the right manager, but at the wrong time. Yeah. I think this move made a lot more sense in February, especially given there are reports that Spurs are making him one of the highest paid managers in the entire Premier League. That 5-year deal, given his history, really doesn't make much sense at all. He's only ever lasted more than 91 games at one club. Half of his jobs have lasted 30 games or less. So this is a very, very combustible character that we're throwing into a fire, a very unique situation in North London. Spurs haven't been facing the prospect of relegation in my lifetime since the mid-90s. So it is a very unique scenario. And this guy does have some experience of, steadying the ship after a little while. Brighton eventually finished 6th in his full season there, but he didn't win for his first 5 games there. But by the end of that season, they'd beaten Man United, Chelsea, Arsenal, Liverpool as well. They'd reached the FA Cup semi-finals where they lost to Man United on penalties. He helped develop the likes of Alexis McAllister and Moses Caicedo, also left in his first summer. He then brought in João Pedro and Carlos Baleba, who've been linked with top clubs. So he does have an amazing reputation for improving clubs. But over the short term, it's an entirely new style of play that might take a little while for the Spurs players to adapt to. And when we saw them making so many mistakes in the first leg against Atletico Madrid in the Champions League, trying to play out from the back, that is what Zerbi is going to ask for them from the off. So you're going into a club incredibly low on confidence with a pretty unique style of play.
Yeah. It's going to be such a fascinating watch, I think, watching how De Zerbi operates at Spurs, Dougie. It really is. He's so demanding as an individual on himself and on the players. How will the hierarchy at Spurs, and this is all quite new to a lot of them in at Spurs at the moment, how do you think they'll cope with someone like that?
Well, I think the fact that they've handed him a 5-year deal, it feels like the power is very much already in De Zerbi's hands. He's really got what he's wanted. And you mentioned before I came on as well that release clause, if they do go down, he's the one holding all the cards here, which is not really what you want as you go into a relationship with a pretty combustible character as well. He fell out with the Marseille hierarchy earlier this year, was fired in February, left by mutual consent. After a couple of dodgy results, they got thrashed by Club Brugge and lost to PSG. But they were going all right in the league at that stage. So it did feel like a pretty dramatic U-turn in sort of the relationship. He took them from 8th to 2nd in his first season in charge. They scored the most goals that they'd scored since 2017-18. And that is something that he's always managed to do, get attacks firing. He did the same at Brighton, but they didn't concede that fewer goals than the amount they scored. It was very, very entertaining, very end-to-end, asking Lewis Dunk to step on the ball, bait the press and then play through them. He did the same at Sassuolo, a club with a far smaller budget. But for now, this isn't really about who they can bring in the summer. It's what they can do in this next 7 games. And luckily, they are playing my side, Sunderland, in their first game. Sunderland have just come off the derby win against Newcastle, 43 points. We're feeling very happy about ourselves. That's quite a nice first game, to be totally honest, because Sunderland have kind of completed their season, as it were. But you feel like if they don't get a result at the Stadium of Light and potentially, play into Sunderland's sort of press and make a few errors, then confidence will be even worsely affected.
Dougie, it's amazing, mate, because Andy and I have been talking about it. I think with the greatest respect, and I know what you're saying. I know how he likes to play the game, put on the ball and all that kind of stuff, passing the ball about. But I think the first thing the Tottenham supporters need to see is 11 guys walking out in the park that were willing to roll their sleeves up and getting about a relegation battle. Will he be able to do that?
You'd have thought so. I mean, he's been known as an amazing motivator in the past. His Brighton side were always very, very high up the running stats. But this is, I agree with you, a Spurs squad that have seemingly if not down tools, really lost confidence to a level that we haven't really seen before. Their biggest players, their star players who've been linked with big clubs in the past, Mickey van der Ven, Christian Romero, etc. They played well beneath themselves all season. Dominic Solanke's only just come back from injury. I do think it has to be noted when you talk about Spurs that if you took the two best attacking players out of any squad in James Maddison and Dejan Kulusevski, I think a lot of teams would struggle. But to this extent, it does feel like as soon as they concede a goal, they panic, heads drop. It feels like they are very, very brittle in terms of confidence right now. So for De Zerbi to come in and instigate a new style of play immediately would be an amazing feat.
Brilliant, Dougie. Time will tell. We'll see what happens. Thanks very much for your time, mate.
Pleasure.
Okay, coming up, Gabby Bonner has inspired a talkSPORT investigation into the England squad pullouts or call-offs. More on that next.
Do you trust the Spurs ownership to get this next appointment right?
Do I trust the Spurs ownership? I don't know. Do I rate the Spurs ownership?
Well, you said you're not sure that you know what they're doing.
It's not for me to trust them because I don't care about their judgment. But do I rate their judgment? Well, not at this moment in time, because the body of work that they've produced is poor. They weren't responsible for the appointment of Thomas Frank, so there's an irrelevance to that question because Daniel Levy made that appointment. The fact that he fired him, the fact that was an inevitability and forecast by me 2 or 3 months earlier isn't a surprise. The fact that they've in my mind, they've got two people that are number twos in business, running the business and making decisions with outside influences that sit on their board that don't have any football knowledge, in my view, making decisions, has brought out outcomes that would make anybody go, well, I don't really rate their thinking. As far as De Zerbi is concerned, he's a decent manager. He comes with his own baggage like most of them do. He did a decent job at Brighton. He was an ungrateful little wretch when he departed because he decided to have a broadside at the owner of the football club that spent enormous amounts of time giving him an opportunity and backing him. Just because you lost a game in Europe doesn't really entitle you to have a broadside at your ownership model. But that's what he does and that's what you get. Now, for him, taking Tottenham Hotspur, I think there's all upside for him. This is a huge football club. Irrespective if it gets relegated or not, my balance of probabilities it will bounce back again. And it'll be priced into people's thinking. If he takes the Tottenham job because of the size of that football club and the scale of it, then there will always be a dispensation if they...
7:21, Tuesday the 31st of March. Ally and Andy with you this morning on talkSPORT Breakfast. England face Japan at Wembley, and it's live on talkSPORT this evening in the last match before Thomas Tuchel picks his squad for the World Cup. Massive, massive game. Of course it is. Pre-match conversation has been dominated by who isn't playing rather than who is. And here at talkSPORT, we're determined to get to the bottom of it.
Martin Zubimendi's become the 11th Arsenal player to pull out of this international camp. His announcement follows Piero Hincapié, Declan Rice and Bukayo Saka also withdrawing from this week's friendlies.
If I was part of the Premier League and I'd make a decision, I'd bring in a new rule. You miss the next league game available if you pull out of international duty. And I'll tell you something, Gally, players will stop pulling out.
I hope that you're not making it as an inference that Arsenal are deliberately taking players out. I assume these are genuine injuries, Jim. I'd say in the case of Saka, he looks fatigued, he looks tired. And I'd say that Rice has just played an incredible amount of football. We just have to accept that.
The medical assessment, wanted desperately to play, to just get the narrative straight, wanted desperately to be involved, but it made just no sense to take this risk. If it would have been maybe a last game of the season, we would have kept them and tried everything.
Tell me, have you seen the guy on the phone in the pub that plays that Pink Panther tune with his mouth?
No. Oh, yes, I have. Yes, I have seen that. Yes, I have. I have seen him. He's brilliant.
He just says he goes.
Yeah, he is. He's brilliant. He's very, very good. No, he is. And the thing, Ali, also, there's no better industry than football. Whenever a rule is made, very quickly, instead of you think the tone would be right. We've all got to adhere to the new rule. No. How can we bend that new rule? Exactly. How can we twist that rule?
Exactly.
And when Gabby said you miss a game if you don't turn up, then all of a sudden, as I said, they'll be getting a tick off this doctor, that doctor. Yeah, look, it's all there. Football finds ways of always circumnavigating the truth.
I think so. Now, for more on this, I'm delighted to say that joining us, talkSPORT's England correspondent Faye Carruthers. A very good morning, Faye. How are you?
Hello, Faye.
Morning, Ali. Morning, Andy. All right?
We're in top form. Tell me you've seen that guy in the pub playing the Pink Panther with his mouth, Faye. He's different class.
Haven't. I've already started Googling
I'm going to send you. Faye, I'm sending you. It's one of the funniest things you watch all day. How are you, first of all?
I'm really well, thank you. It's lovely to wake up to you two in the morning.
Great
stuff. Thank you for that. It's been great fun.
It's good to see you. Now, we're looking at the squad that he's picked, and obviously one of the main talking points, as per usual, are the players that aren't in the squad and the players that have been injured and things like that, Faye. But Andy and I have just been saying that this isn't a new thing. This is something that international managers have had to deal with for a long, long time.
Yeah. Always. Ever since I've been England correspondent, last 7 years, every single camp there are question marks, but particularly this March one, because we are at a key point of the season where players are at a very high load in terms of managing it. And Bukayo Saka and Declan Rice have been fighting on all four fronts. Now the Carabao Cup is gone. It's still 3 fronts. So they've played a lot of minutes, which is why Thomas Tuchel gave them and 9 other players the rest in the first place. And he's exactly right. There's no point risking either of them for a friendly when he knows exactly what they bring to England. He knows that they play in the profile that he wants them to play in, but he needs them to be on the plane for the World Cup, and Mikel Arteta needs them to be involved for the 3 trophies they're still fighting for. So, you have to protect the player ultimately. Having been in and around both of these players for a number of years now, I can tell you neither of them are the type that would pull out for no reason. And, Bukayo Saka has reported for duty before when he's been injured, and he's done rehab at St George's Park. Declan Rice was on the grass the other day. They've both tried to be ready for this game. Ultimately, it's not worth the risk, and I understand that.
Yep. Faye, how's it been with Tuchel? Because there's a lot about him I like. Me too. I felt that England needed a coach that's going to be prepared to make big calls, brave calls. I absolutely think he'll do that. I thought over all the some of the players pulling out, I thought he might have been a little spikier. He's actually been very relaxed about it. So how have you found him, Faye, working closely with him and interviewing him and the sort of atmosphere around the camp?
I really enjoy it, actually. I think if you ask him a question when he's able, he gives you an honest answer. And you're exactly right. He was relaxed yesterday. He didn't feel prickly in the slightest about it, which is why you assume, because you can only assume, don't know, I don't have the medical reports, you can only assume that it's genuine, and that the players do have knocks that are not worth risking. But he's funny. He started laughing when I asked him. I said, 11 Arsenal players, it does start to look a little bit suspicious. And he said, yeah, the numbers don't lie. But, he's very easy to talk to. He's very straightforward. He's very clear with the players. I really like that he tells them that they're all, which position that they're fighting for and who they're fighting with for that position. I think that clarity of role is really, really important. And I think he's created a really good atmosphere. And that September, October, November group of games in the autumn, I think were really important for bringing what he wants together to take to the World Cup. Because, if they're going to go all the way in the USA and end up in the final in New York, they're going to be together for 7 weeks. It's a long time. He's got to get the right characters as well as the right players. And he did say to me right at the beginning when he took over the job that there will be some high-profile players that will miss out, and that's inevitable when you look at the roster of incredible talent that England have to choose from.
You touched on it, and I've got to go to a break, but I want to ask you this question. Normally, we talk about these games, these friendly games, as an opportunity for one or two fringe players, whether it's Ben White's got himself into the reckoning for the final squad, James Garner. But can it go the other way? And I'm thinking about somebody in particular, more like Phil Foden.
Yeah, you and I have spoken about Phil Foden before. Phil is brilliant, and he took a really nasty tackle, and tackle. And he's still there. He knows, I think, that he's fighting for his England place. Morgan Rogers has that number 10 shirt at the moment. I think we're not going to see Jude Bellingham tonight because he's still not fit enough to be able to play. Morgan has been a favourite of Thomas Tuchel's since he took over. Phil played the role the other night, but we just don't see an end product really from Phil. I think he's 45, 46 caps and 4 goals that he's scored for England, and he's an incredible player, and he's somebody who's 100% worth taking. But you can't if you have, 3 others fighting for that spot. And Cole Palmer is going to be fighting tonight for his place additionally. And that just seems bonkers that you've got the likes of Phil Foden and Cole Palmer who may not make the England squad.
Incredible. Faye, listen, enjoy the game tonight. Thanks for your time.
Faye. Thank you.
See you later.
Great stuff. Coming up, 3/4 of fans have spoken and they want VAR gone. VAR must go, they say. 75%. I reckon there might be more. Is it finally time for the Premier League to give technology the boot? We're going to be talking about that next.
Friday night, England drew 1-1 with Uruguay. Ben White making his first appearance for his country since he walked out at the Qatar 2022 World Cup camp due to a reported falling out with the then assistant Steve Holland. So, Ben White on Friday night, Martin, a bit of an eventful night for Ben, to put it mildly. He gets booed when he put the ball in the back of the net, and he gave away the penalty in the 94th minute to see the game finish 1-1. And he was booed as he came off. Jonathan Norcroft in the Times, it's an angry world and modern football crowds exhibit it. But booing a player after scoring for your country is still difficult to comprehend. Supporters do need to hear Ben White express some sort of regret. White is shy, but it's not too much to ask him to talk. We didn't hear from Ben, but we heard from Tuchel on the booze.
Disappointed if our players are booed. I understood that it happened before to players and they went through it and took it on the chin. Still, I don't like it. Still, I'm disappointed. I will always protect my players. He did so well in training and he almost scored for us, so it could have been a perfect comeback. But it was mixed reactions. It was not only boos, some cheered, so let's hope we put this behind us.
Over the last few years, Formula One has gone from elitist and insular to a global entertainment brand. The transformation's down to American investment group Liberty Media, who cultivated a new image for the sport since buying it in 2016. Better access to drivers, improved content on social media and tapping into the US market have given F1 a massive boost in both attention and revenues. But is everyone happy? The fans certainly are, as evidenced by Drive to Survive. Almost 7 million people per season have tuned in to get all the gossip and all the drama from the paddock. The extra exposure means the drivers can demand a higher salary too. In 2010, the top drivers were earning $20 million a year, which isn't bad. But now, the very best earn 3 times that, with Max Verstappen getting a whopping $65 million in 2025. But money doesn't always buy happiness. Some drivers, including Verstappen, don't like the pageantry the changes have brought about. In Las Vegas in 2023, Verstappen said the drivers were made to look like clowns, and the event was 99% performance and 1% race. Some purists who still watch the sport feel the same, and that the spirit of competition has suffered. But Formula One and Liberty Media don't look like slowing down anytime soon. So expect more races, major events and exclusive access in future.
The talkSPORT 20k giveaway.
Hey, you can't name that. It is a piece of music called "In the Hall of the Mountain King" by Edvard Grieg.
Hold on, has Ed fed you that one?
Right, no.
No?
I got it at music at school. In the Hall of the Mountain King. It's from the same piece of music as Morning Mood, which Morning Mood was. Right,
yes, know that one.
That's from the same piece of music.
Very good.
In the Hall of the Mountain King, it's when I think that somebody's getting chased.
Right.
It sounds like somebody's getting chased.
Certainly does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Great.
By the way, and I'm moving swiftly on. 147 quid.
Go on, for what?
That's what it cost me to fill my car up at the garage.
147.
Think about that. It's diesel,
yeah.
Right? It's not a massive car, right? It's not before everybody says, what you got, you're driving a Sherman tank there, and it's not. It's an Audi. 147 quid.
It wouldn't cost you 147 quid if you filled it with Whispering Angel, would it? You know, it's unbelievable that. It is 147. Look, it's gone
crazy.
Gone bonkers, mate.
You tell me, diesel going to get worse. Diesel crazy, a diesel.
Yeah, diesel, diesel is, I think, a good 20-30p a litre dearer.
And yeah, I couldn't believe it.
You know the electric cars, I'm always curious to know, how much does it cost people? Can you work out how much it actually costs them to charge their electric car overnight at home? My son's got an electric car, and I said to him, how much is it? He says about 6 quid or 7 quid. It can't be that. Surely it's got to be a bit more than that. Is it or not?
No, but it's not. Give us the lads will tell us.
Someone will tell us. Someone will tell us. And by the way, earlier, Ali, I asked, didn't I, about David or Bernardo Silva.
Yes.
And it's been pretty categoric. Everybody is saying David. United Kev actually turned around and said, David or Bernardo? He said, I'd choose Long John. Right. So thank you for that, Kev. Right. But pretty much to a man, woman and child so far, everybody has been saying David Silva is the absolute legend.
I must admit, I did say David myself, but I didn't think it would be a landslide.
Yeah. No, I don't think I've
looking a landslide, isn't it?
Don't think I've seen one text for Bernardo. And I think for such an incredible player, and what he's won and what he's achieved at the club, and he's still there week in, week out, pretty much.
Here you go.
Go on.
£3. Hi, Ali. My electric car costs £3 for 250 miles.
See what I mean? And
then another one's going here, a £5.
It's all.
I mean, it's unbelievable.
That is astonishing. 147.
Yeah, I think we've got. I've got. Mind you, I mean, to be fair, if Verstappen's no happy with a hybrid, I can't see me being happy with it. Do you know what I mean? If I'm heading down to Tesco's in the village, do you know what I mean? All of a sudden, my hybrid engine starts playing up. I'm with Verstappen on that one.
Oh dear!
I'm just going to get the toys out the pram and get me back to my £147 tank fill up diesel.
And the problem is when fuel goes crazy like it has done recently for very obvious reasons, it don't never come down that. It never gets back the way, does it?
It's like chips. It's like a bag of chips.
I can remember
potatoes. It used to drive me mental up at Calderwood Square. Oh, the chips are up 2p. How? Yeah. New Year's potatoes. Right. What about when the New Year's potatoes go away again? Can you going to bring that 2p back? Never. Never, ever, ever.
The building trade is another trade. There's everything. If you're having anything built right now and you're wondering, how on earth is it costing this much money? I got a quote for X and it's now costing Y. Building trade's gone daft, gone crazy because of all the materials. And they say, oh, well, COVID, everything went up.
I know.
And then, and nothing's gone back down, has it? Nothing goes back down.
It's unbelievable. Oh, dear me. I'm glad I got that off our chest. This is talkSPORT Breakfast with Arnold Clark. There's over 20,000 used cars online to choose from, so they will, without doubt, have the car for you. Ally and Andy with you this morning. We're taking a look at officiating once again as the results of a new fan survey are being released, revealing what we all really think about the use of VAR. The results found that 3/4 of the Premier League fans are against the use of VAR, and more than 97% of those surveyed rejected the statement that the technology makes watching football more enjoyable. Before we bring in Chris Foy, Times football writer Gregor Robertson joined Hawksby and Jacobs yesterday and said football cannot be enjoyable again until VAR is gone.
I don't feel that football is for want of a better word, mature enough to know that technology is there and ready to intervene, but we're not allowed to use it. So if you've used up your claims, and maybe it was a highly disputed one or highly subjective one and it wasn't clear cut, but it's been used up and then there's something really clear and obvious, if that concept exists, and you're not allowed to use the technology, I don't think the game will be able to accept that personally. So I think you're right. I think it's opened up new layers of subjectivity. It's warped the way we actually interpret the rules, and I personally think that to abolish it is the only way that the game will return to some semblance of sort of happiness.
It's a very good morning to former Premier League referee Chris Foy. Chris, good morning.
Morning, Chris.
Yeah, good morning, boys. I didn't know whether you needed a borrow or a bricklayer.
Oh, Chris, it's been one of those mornings, mate. Never mind that. You get yourself strapped in for this.
I'm ready. As always, Ali. I expect nothing else.
Brilliant, mate. Chris, Gregor, right, you heard him there. He's actually speaking for the people now, Chris. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, Chris, I thought VAR would be a good thing. I did. I thought anything that rights or wrong must be a good thing. That was my philosophy well before it came into the game. Now I'm with the 76%. It has to go, but it won't, will it?
No, it won't go because it's in the laws of the game and it's competition specific. We see it in the Champions League. We see it in the Premier League. It's there to right the wrongs, as you say. I think it's got reputational damage from the early days, as early as when referees didn't go to the monitor. And we see things now that have changed massively. You know, we talk about, you used to be offside, you were either on or you're off. Now we've got subjective offside decisions where referees are going to the monitor for line of vision. We talk about deliberate play deflections. It's quite interesting looking at some of the comments this morning from the survey about fans are happy with checking for red cards, but not if there's a sort of a small offence before a goal scored. But in the protocol, you've got to check all goals.
Chris, can I ask you, do you think you guys should be doing more, referees, I'm talking about, and obviously Howard as the referee supremo, should you be doing more in terms of, because if you guys don't enjoy it, and I can't believe for 1 minute that all of the guys that are working on VAR week in, week out are actually coming out there at the end of a game and thinking, well, that all passed off very peacefully today, or that all went well, that was smooth, you guys must be feeling the heat massively. So why perhaps are you guys not doing more to streamline it and come up with the answers to make it better?
It's a really good question. If you look at, for example, Mike Dean, who's probably refereed more Premier League games than anybody else, one of the most experienced, he wasn't comfortable with VAR, which I thought was surprising. I thought he'd be really good at it, but he didn't enjoy it and he couldn't do it. I mean, what Howard Webb's introduced is a system where he's got VARs now who have gone through a rigorous selection process, who've gone through a lot of training, have done a lot of games. I think he got 15 of those through, and 7 of them are actually active now. And many of them haven't refereed a Premier League match, but they're good at what they do. But a lot of the time they're hamstrung with the protocol, Andy. That's the way it works out for them.
Yeah.
Chris, I've got to say, mate, right, and I'm listening to you there. The Premier League has responded to a survey by saying the Premier League recognise the importance of minimising the impact of VAR on the support experience. As part of an ongoing dialogue with supporters, Premier League research indicates fans are largely in favour of keeping VAR but improving the way it's used. Not according to this survey. This survey has just said of those polled, 81% said they preferred watching matches without video technology. And I can only liken it to, I watch far more football than most, Chris, right? From every level, every standard, kids all the way up, very fortunate to Champions League to international football. And there is no doubt, I'm with the 81%, mate. I much prefer watching my football now without and I use the word interference of VAR. Is this not an opportunity, surely, for the powers that be to listen to the fans?
I think communication is key in all these things, Ali, isn't it? I mean, English football is quite unique in that respect because, the Premier League and the EFL, the LMA, the PFA, the PGMO, the FSA, they're always talking, they're always looking at things. But come back to your point, I too, watch football at every level from Champions League. I'll be watching some football this morning. I'll go to a game Thursday night. You look at it, and when I see Champions League stuff, we get an intervention in those games, 1 and 2 matches. And a lot of things happen, and I scratch my head with what I see, and there's no real fallout from Champions League games. But the Premier League's a goldfish bowl, and in the Premier League, there's only sort of 1 intervention in every 4 matches, and it just runs and runs, and everybody's got an opinion. But as I said, I think there's reputational damage there from the very early stage, because I speak to lots of people, and I think education with VAR is key, getting more people to actually understand how it works, the protocol, giving them an opportunity to sit in the chair and actually try and understand it. I think that's really, really important, that more and more people understand it. But I do hear what people are saying, and I understand the concerns, because I too, even though I'm a referee, subject to, to somewhat people might disagree, I love my football as well.
No, we all do, mate. All right, Chris, thanks very much for your time again.
Thank you, Chris.
As per usual, take care.
Cheers, boys. Have a good day.
Okay, still to come in breakfast this morning.
Superstar Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Travis Perkins. Doing what matters for the trade. Find your local branch at travisperkins.co.uk.
Okay, plenty to come. Plenty of big name guests on the way. We're catching up with Neil Warnock again. Looking forward to that. European tour golfer Alex Fitzpatrick will be with us. And ahead of England versus Japan tonight, the last international, before Thomas Tuchel names his World Cup squad. John Barnes, brilliant Barnsley, will be joining us just at 9 o'clock. That was our breakfast preview with Travis Perkins.
Superstar Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Travis Perkins. Bricks on bricks on bricks. Over 40 million available to order with delivery to site. That's one less thing to worry about.
Is it Homer the sort of fighter, Dave, that the likes of Fury, the likes of AJ, you know, that they're in the mid-30s now, they're trying to avoid, and maybe more like a Fabio Wardley and Dubois would be one of the fights that you'll have next?
Yeah, Joshua and Fury won't go near him. He's too young, too fresh, too fast. You know, their best days have gone. So the time realistically, he's looking at Dubois Wardley winner. I don't think the Wardley winner. I think if Wardley wins, I don't think he'll box him because they're in the same gym. Dubois may, but Caballel, you know, Talma's gonna have to fight one of them guys. He's not gonna get one of the old guard that's on the way out. He's gonna have to box one of the real, you know, main men, which is Caballel. So it's interesting, and then he's gonna be around for another 15 years, hopefully. You know, so there's going to be people we're not even heard of yet that are going to come and have a go at him.
Is that the danger with heavyweights like him, to be so strong and powerful but quick as well?
Yeah, it's the speed. All heavyweights can punch. For me personally, I've never been put over in a fight, never been down and out. That's because I can see him coming. The fear, the danger of the time is you don't really see him coming. He's that fast. You know, he throws a lovely right hook off the back of a left hand to the body, and no one sees it coming. That's what Franklin does well. Franklin doesn't get hit properly. That's why he's never been over. All his great chin talk for me is nonsense. There's no great chins. Anyone gets hit properly, you go over.
Tuesday 31st of March, 7:51. talkSPORT Breakfast. Ally and Andy with you this Tuesday morning. We were talking earlier about the Pink Panther
Yeah.
What was he? Was it K2? K2? What was his name again? Remember the wee guy? He used to come flying out the wardrobe.
Yes, he did, yeah.
Be hiding in the washing machine and all that in the big fight.
Yes. Not now.
I want a room.
Kato.
I want a room with a view. We were talking earlier about the Pink Panther. He was genius, wasn't he? I want a room. You want a room? I want a room. Right, we're urging listeners to check out the lad who perfectly impersonated the theme tune without the saxophone. Man, tell me we've got him. Radio listeners, let's hear it. And those of you watching on YouTube or Smart TV, we've got it. You're treated to the pictures. Here he is.
He's clever.
Hey, you want him in a night out, don't you?
Oh, that's brilliant. He's very good at that, isn't he?
Unbelievable. Right, we covered everything in this show. How you're getting away with that, I'll never know. Back to football. Craig Bellamy has underlined his commitment to stay on as Wales head coach, describing it as the best job in the world. Bellamy insists he'll prepare for tonight's friendly against Northern Ireland like it's the final.
You have to refocus and be consistent in your preparation. Be prepared if it was the final. But we always prepare like every game's the final. And a simple part of international football, you don't have enough games to be able to dismiss. Like, we're already gearing now towards the Nations League. We have to. Now we're in Group A, a real high quality of games where we want to be. And then before we know it, Euro qualifiers are going to be here as well. So it's like, let's get down to business again.
I was gutted for all the boys.
Oh, yeah.
I watched the Welsh game, Andy, and I think I said to you, I don't know, I just felt last 10 minutes there was like an inevitability.
Felt like it was going to happen.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I
was obviously watching the Ireland game, and from being 2 up, Ally, and then all of a sudden, and a very ordinary Czech team as well.
I know, mate.
Well, our lads started so well in the game.
2-0 up, mate.
2-0 up, and then conceded a penalty. You know, a really poor decision from Ryan Manning. It's got to be said, it was crazy to concede a penalty in that fashion. When you've just been given a soft penalty in a game of football,
the one thing you don't do.
Oh, you know you've got almost tiptoe around the park
100%,
for the next
mate.
10 minutes.
100%. Because you know, rightly or wrongly, human nature would indicate that he gets a chance to level up.
He'll even it up, exactly. You know that, you do. So really disappointing how it ended for. I mean, Northern Ireland's, that was a tough one, you felt, and even though they were very competitive in the game, that was always going to be a tough one against Italy. But for the,
I always felt yourselves in the Welsh, particularly yourselves, I thought if you could get through that when you won the goal.
Well, yeah, I mean, Denmark looked very strong.
By the way, they do.
They had a great
Of course, they had a comfortable one, didn't they?
They had a good win, 4-0, and it was never going to be easy, that game anyway. However, I thought we'd get it done, but it was so. It hurts to listen. Losing on penalties is a tough gig anyway. It always has been. That will never change in football. So it was a shame. And again, these matches now for the teams that got beat, Ali, seem
Andy,
on the back of that seem a little bit unnecessary.
And I know Craig's absolutely correct. He's got to say that.
He's got to say that. He's got to try and put something on it.
Never mind his players. Imagine a job lifting his players. The fans.
Yeah.
I mean, the fans will be, it's a really tough one. I mean, the Republic of Ireland faced North Macedonia, and our boys played Ivory Coast at Everton's Hill Dickinson Stadium tonight. And I'm just thinking, I mean, I watched their game against Japan. See, with great respect.
What were they like, Japan? Because people have been saying they.
Yeah, well, do you know something? Yeah, they are. I think they're sitting about 18th in the world in the rankings. But it's difficult to tell in those games, Andy.
It is very difficult.
Do you know what I mean? There's great respect. There is really nothing at stake as such.
No.
And the Scottish boys, dear me, I mean, if I'm on the Scottish boys, because we don't, the vast majority of our squad, Stevie Clark will know what it is. It's not as if people are fighting for.
Clark, he was a bit unhappy, of course. Did the reaction of the punters at the end?
I mean, I'm laughing. We've not qualified for World Cup in 30 years, and we're booing. Boo! Boo! Do you know what I mean? We get our first World Cup. He's got us to 2 Euros, and now he's got us the World Cup, and we're booing. Hey, we are one hard mob to please, aren't we? Anyway, what else have we got? As I mentioned, the World Cup playoffs tonight, and it's massive games. Massive games. Bosnia versus Italy. The Czechs versus Denmark.
Yeah.
Right?
Denmark.
I'll ask you what you think.
Denmark,
right?
definitely that one. The first one, not so sure. It's funny how Italians.
I can't believe that, mate.
Yeah.
This could be their third, and they've won a Euros in between it, as you know.
Yep.
Imagine, who would have said the Italians might not qualify for 3 World Cups? And by the way, it's getting easier to qualify. Let's not make no mistake about it. It's getting easier to qualify with an amount of teams.
Yeah.
Third World Cup in a row, potentially. I mean, that for a nation, a footballing nation like the Italians, has to be an unmitigated disaster.
Cool. That would be so huge. The bit that amazes me with the Italian team, having watched them recently and over the last couple of years, is where's their strikers? Italian football was always blessed with so many amazing forward players, so many brilliant strikers. That if you wanted a striker years ago, you'd go at the Italian league and you'd find one. And now, where are they? Where have they gone? Why have they gone?
I don't know, mate.
I know that particular position is so difficult to find the very best players, but it amazes me when even you see teams like Italy not having that stellar standout striker anymore.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
That is. Here's one for you.
One.
Sweden, Poland. Gyökeres got a hat-trick in the first game.
He did. He scored a hat-trick. He did.
I think that's
a tough one to call.
Gyökeres versus Lewandowski.
Yeah. Ooh.
Battle of the centre forwards.
Oh, not many.
That is a tough one to call.
Yep.
Because Sweden's form prior to it's been pretty poor. But that's.
Yep.
Would you lean towards Sweden? I'm not sure.
Probably, maybe just because they're at home. Then maybe a little bit in that respect. I don't think you can underestimate the value of having this game, this all or nothing game, on your own patch. So I'd probably lean a little bit towards the Swedes there, but there's going to be some great games, some big games. And actually, I think once these are all done, Ali, at last then, like World Cup fever, I think can finally sort of take place. It can start because
100%.
Because you don't even know all the fixtures in the World Cup until these are out the way.
I am still physically and mentally scarred by being present at the draw and watching Wayne Gretzky try to pronounce about 5 or 6 of the national teams. Honestly,
Was he?
His attempt at Bosnia and Herzegovina was
not the best. No, didn't cover himself with any
teeth
glory.
Rattling about his head like no idea. Here's an interesting one. He's a good one. Kosovo also play Turkey, but you stay in a hotel across the road, don't you?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Your man, brilliant. What's his name at the front desk? His name's right out of my head. Congo. DR Congo playing Jamaica.
I thought that was his name for a minute. I thought.
First thing he said to me, I was checking in the hotel last night and he's raving. He's got his Congo strip. He's got to watch the game. And I thought, good on you, mate. Do you know what I mean? Isn't it brilliant?
Yes.
So that's a game which normally I wouldn't have a great amount of interest in. I will watch now.
Yes.
I'll watch it with interest to see who goes through for the World Cup. You're right, once these games get through, that's us into it.
Actually, Ali, you just reminded me, we had a text there from David in Uganda earlier to tell us that David Silva is the main man.
That's magic, isn't it? This is all obviously for a place at World Cup. 03717 223344. Tottenham fans, give us a call. Are you happy with the Zerbi?
With Mo Salah leaving, a lot of commentators have talked about the fact there's a lack of icons in the Premier League. Obviously, last year we had De Bruyne leave. You've had, over the course of the last few years, you've had Ronaldo back fleetingly. You've had Ibrahimovic here fleetingly. But the big boys don't come to the Premier League, do they? I mean, Haaland is probably the only global icon that is still there. Would that be fair? I mean, Son's not there anymore. De Bruyne's not there anymore. Salah's going. Kane, Ronaldo, Zlatan, all gone. Mbappe, Vinicius, Bellingham, Messi, Neymar. They would rather play elsewhere. Why?
That's a very good question. I don't think there's as many superstars today as the kind of has been in the past. Obviously, Messi, Ronaldo were the two superstars, and no one could get anywhere near them. And that doesn't mean to say that others like Neymar and Luis Suarez weren't. What I would say is, I think Real Madrid's, whatever you say about Manchester United, even when they're at their pomp, that I think are the biggest club in the world, the most attractive club in the world. You could argue maybe even Madrid in terms of just living there as well, I think is incredible. Barcelona too. You think about that Barcelona team of Messi, Xavi, Iniesta, Busquets, Puyol, just absolutely sensational. And you look at Real Madrid now, Vinny Jr., Mbappe, Bellingham. Who else have I missed? I think the general ones, they've always had the very, very top ones have probably gone to La Liga and Real Madrid. Whereas the Premier League, it's almost like the next section down, but deep.
Aguero, Solskjaer, Deeney, Watkins. Sure, you know all about those last-minute goals, but have you heard the one about the on-loan goalkeeper who saved his temporary employers from disappearing out the Football League and into almost certain financial oblivion? Back in 1999, Carlisle United, managed by Nigel Pearson, were fighting to stay in the Football League. Carlisle's finances were precarious with a capital P that season, leading to a scenario where, with 3 games to go, they had to ask the FA to sanction an emergency loan deal to bring in a goalkeeper. Swindon Town's Jimmy Glass arrived at the club. His efforts in his first 2 games earned the Cumbrians 2 draws. Those vital points meant that Carlisle went into their final game of the Division 3 season, now League 2, needing to beat mid-table Plymouth Argyle in front of their own fans and hope their relegation rival Scarborough didn't win against Peterborough at home. The game at the McCain Stadium finished 1-1, and with the same scoreline at Brunton Park deep into injury time, Scarborough's fans invaded the pitch en masse, believing their Football League status was secure, convinced they'd done enough to stay up. However, there'd be one more plot twist. Carlisle won a corner in the dying seconds, and up came Jimmy Glass. In one of those you couldn't make it up moments, Glass scored from a rebounded header and was promptly swamped by teammates and thousands of fans who quite simply couldn't believe what they'd just witnessed. As for Jimmy Glass, he became an overnight celebrity, but he never played for Carlisle again, and his playing career never really kicked on after that defining moment. He took on various jobs outside of football before finding his way back into the sport as player liaison officer at Eddie Howe's Bournemouth, and most recently the general manager at non-league Wimborne. Not the fairy tale ending to one of the most Hollywood moments in football, but the name Jimmy Glass will live on forever as the scorer of that goal, arguably the most important in any club's history.
Okay, very good morning. 6 minutes past 8, Tuesday, 31st of March. This is talkSPORT Breakfast with Arnold Clark. Browse the UK's best used car deals and score your dream car today. Check out the website for more details. Ally and Andy with you this morning. Have a listen to this one, Andy. Right, Ally. £1,130 to fill up my Arctic yesterday.
£1,130 for the truck, sorry.
For the truck, right.
But even so.
Well, and this is for Mike, and Mike's heading he's in the M74 heading to Glasgow. So drive safely, Mike. He said that will last between 2 and 3 days. So in round figures, that's about £3,000 a week for one truck.
Wow.
If you then consider the case of hauliers with 200 trucks, can you imagine the cost? That's absolutely scary.
Is there a slight bonus, Ali? Does Mike keep the points for that petrol? And he gets a free sausage roll and a cup of tea? I should like... Wow.
If he does it, he must be about 40 stone. Right? He'll have sausage rolls coming out his ears, Mike.
Wow.
That's absolutely incredible.
Ah, yeah.
And just to be reminded for Tony to let me know that K2 is actually a mountain. And mountains don't jump out of fridges and attack Peter's cellars. So thanks for that, Tony, for that confirmation. Now on the way for you this morning, following a survey claiming widespread dissatisfaction with VAR. And Arsenal players pulling out of international duty. We'll ask your thoughts of legendary boss Neil Warnock. What on earth is going on in the world? Barnes is also going to be joining us. Looking forward to that. And we'll speak exclusively to a British Olympic sprinter who last night announced his retirement from athletics. I saw that. I listened to that. Yep, more to come on that. Spurs are gearing up for the third manager of the season in a bid to survive the relegation scrap.
I can tell you that in the last few minutes, Brighton have confirmed the appointment of Roberto De Zerbi.
Into Welbeck, in the air, he's got 3 options, and it's smuggled in on the line. It's 4-0.
When his Brighton team were at it, they was good to have seen Brighton.
Brighton will be playing European football next season.
I have to be proud because I saw how much the fans, the players love me.
Eventually, he's gonna manage a top team.
It's my understanding that talks with Roberto De Zerbi really ramped up late last night.
Ryan Mason's got a better win percentage than him in the Premier League.
Would you have Ryan Mason as manager over De Zerbi?
Do you know what? At this point in time, I think I probably would.
Don't think there is a single thing about De Zerbi's body of work that suggests that at this point in time, you give him a 5-year deal.
Just get this vision of this giant mountain coming flying out of a fridge and attacking Peter Sellers. That's ridiculous, isn't it? Absolutely.
Ali, there's always a player, right? When a new manager walks through the door, there's always a casualty in terms of somebody you think,
yes,
you'd have thought would have played under this manager and finds himself out the picture.
You think that's going to be the case?
I do, and I'd be interested.
Do you? I think the one. Well, sorry to interrupt you. I just don't think he can take the chance of upsetting. I know. Well, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm thinking he can't upset an apple cart, which is probably upset at the
Already
moment.
I
know. Right. Okay. I know. I hear you.
I wouldn't be surprised, and I don't know. Maybe the Tottenham fans would obviously watch their team far more intently than you and I when we see them every once a month or whatever it is, whenever we're there. But I wonder who they think might be the player that surprisingly is the one that's pushed to one side. I wonder if they might have ideas on that. Text us 81089 News.
I think, I'll tell you right now, I think they'd probably come up with 3 or 4 names.
Well,
I really do.
They may well.
I'll tell you one who wouldn't be Archie Gray.
No, he's done well. Listen, he's done particularly well for a young lad in a very difficult moment. Yeah. He's come in and has always looked like he's up for it. And what I do like about Archie as well, he'll play anywhere.
He's one of the old. Throw him a jersey.
Correct.
He'll not even look at a number on it. He'll just say, "Okay, that'll do for me."
If he has to be one of the 3 at the back, if he has to be a fullback, if he has to be a midfield player, he'll just chuck himself at it. And you need good boys like
100%. You do.
You need those. But there'll probably be someone that right now as
it's going to be fascinating, Andy.
Yeah.
To see what happens. I mean, he's expected to arrive at the club. And a club record 5-year deal, despite having never lasted longer than 3 at any club. talkSPORT understands De Zerbi was hesitant until offered record-breaking money, and crucially the choice.
Amazing that, isn't it? When they It's amazing that when that deal just goes up a little bit further, when you go, no, honestly, no, I need a bit more time. The summer's best for me. Go on. What was that again? How much? Oh, yeah, okay.
Crucially, this is the one that kills me. Crucially, the choice to stay or walk if the club dropped in the championship. I can't believe that. Do fans have any faith in the board and that they're making the right decision? We're going to ask Derek, the Spurs fan, who has given us a call on 03717 22 3344. Derek, a very, very good morning. Thanks for joining us. Do you have any faith in this appointment?
None whatsoever. I don't want a manager who needs a get-out-of-jail clause. I want a manager to be given by this weak board some strength to say it's a 5-year project, not a 7-game project. If we go down, you still get the money. You're taking us back up where we belong. It's a 5-year project. Any manager who comes in there with a get-out-of-jail clause, I don't have that. That's already showing the door to him.
Derek, I'm with you, mate, 100%. And I think Andy's the same.
Yep.
I would actually, I'll take a step. I'd be staggered if that was a clause. I really, really would, because it is not giving anybody I don't think it gives you a sign of any level of commitment that you need.
I'll let you know what I think commitment is. At the Battle of Stamford Bridge, when Poch walked on the pitch to get between two players, grabbed hold of the Chelsea player and said, "You ain't touching my player," that's the manager I want.
Yeah. And I'll tell you what, that next game, Derek, Sunderland away, right, that is not an easy game. And if ever a team has got to be motivated and ready and absolutely prepared to give everything, it's that Spurs team at Sunderland for that one, because that is not going to be easy.
And I'll tell you who I'd drop, Van der Ven. He's not for me one bit, not one bit. He's overrated, and when he pulled that fella back to go make us go down to 10 players, I remember Mike England, when we was at Derby, got hammered 5-1. He stood at one end of the platform going home, and the rest of the team with Billy Nick stood at the other end.
Yeah.
Van der Ven, nah, not a bit of me.
It's amazing that I've got to say to you, because Derek, Andy was saying that, right? So, from your point of view, Derek, right, if you're De Zerbi, and I know you don't want him, I understand that, but what does he do? Does he walk into the dressing room and rattle a few cages, or does he walk into the dressing room and put an arm around a few? What would you do?
I would, if I was Robert De Zerbi and he gets the job, right, I would walk in that dressing room, I would drop 2 key players and say, "Look, guys, I'm not interested in the 7 games. You show me what you got. We're going to stay up, but you ain't playing for me no more. Out."
Interesting. All right, mate. Thanks for your call.
Derek, nice one.
We're watching it very, very closely.
Do you know, in the North London derby at Spurs, when Arsenal, was it 4? Was it 4-0? I think it was, wasn't it?
Oh, Ezzy got a hat-trick, didn't he?
Yeah.
It was
4-1.
Yeah,
4-1. I remember Bukayo Saka darting in off the right, getting beyond, first half, getting beyond Mickey van der Ven, who is so exceptionally quick. And I remember watching him that day, actually, I'll be honest, because whenever I've watched him, I like him, Ali. I like what I see with Van der Ven.
I don't disagree.
But I watched him over there. There's been a few lately where you're thinking, he's looked like one recently that...
It shows his sidekick.
He's looked like one that's thinking, I've had enough of this.
Shows his sidekick.
Yeah.
I mean, that red card they got up the road was at United. I mean, I'm watching that going, it's unacceptable.
No, it is.
It's absolutely unacceptable. Yeah. Okay, mate, that was an interesting one. But it's interesting to hear Derek there, because I think he probably speaks for a lot of the Tottenham fans, you know.
Yeah. Well, keep your text coming in, please. 8 10 89. Send them in. The Tottenham players you think might be a casualty under Roberto De Zerbi, and maybe even what you think he's got to do.
He's went in heavy straight away.
When he walks straight in.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay, mate, we're going to take a short break.
Derek Chisora's retiring after this weekend, so maybe Del Boy can come in and do a better job for all these other guys.
Maybe.
I've also spoken to him. He's going to come in and walk up and down Simon's back this morning to try and sort that out.
Jason Schiffman, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Simon. How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
Good. Well, I wish you back better anyway.
Thank you, mate.
My view is that I think that we need to bring a manager in that's going to sign a contract so the players believe that manager is going to be there next season. I don't think it's a great look when you sign these managers up and they're only signed temporarily, because then all of a sudden the players don't seem to have the same respect for that manager, because they're thinking, well, he's not going to be here in a few weeks. Do I think that this guy can come in and do a job? I certainly hope so. I think the fans are behind the players at the moment. I think I saw an amazing atmosphere, even though we lost 3-0. And I just think this is still the team that got 4 points out of City this season. So the players in that squad that are capable of winning games, but we do need a manager that's capable of getting the best out of them.
Yeah, I mean, you're on your final chance, are you not, Jason? It's critical now.
Listen, it's almost not in our hands, because if West Ham get that win, then all of a sudden we're in this position where we're looking.
Jason, just
around us.
Just a quick one here. So there's an element of concern about Zerbi. Do you share that concern?
Okay, talkSPORT Breakfast, Tuesday, 31st of March. Ally and Andy with you this morning. It's time now for a bit of this. This is, of course, At the River by Groove Armada, known for its use in some of the best M&S adverts of years gone by. Well, ahead of Scotland's friendly with Ivory Coast tonight, the Hill Dickinson Stadium has upped its food game with a special menu inspired by both nations' cuisine.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's time for me and Andy to give you the full M&S treatment. We're going head to head to see who can make this stadium fusion sound the most appealing. I'm up first. Here we go. Appearing live at the Hill Dickinson Stadium, food items number 1. Stornoway black pudding loaded jacket potatoes, featuring a fluffy baked potato topped with a crispy onion and baconaise.
Very nice.
Well, that wasn't the worst, was it? I think I sold that.
I think you, and I tell you what, it does sound good, that actually. Whatever.
I'm not sure yours is going to sound great.
Right, yeah, here we go. Right, Ali, so I have the Ivorian beef stew. Now, this is a rich, slow-cooked dish served with golden saffron rice and finished with a fragrant mint dressing. I'm not sure about that one for me.
No.
I think I'd probably prefer your one.
Well, here's my second dish. It's just a winner written all over it. Right, the tartan army. This is going to be right up a tartan army street. This.
It is.
Haggis and smoked bacon pizza, providing a tartan twist and a classic, bringing iconic Scottish flavours to the modern match day staple.
Here we go with the team colour donut, a limited edition triple glazed donut decorated and filled with a rich chocolate ganache.
Oh, hey.
Can't beat the old ganache.
No, we've got to finish off for a bit of dessert.
This is brilliant. I'd have to try one of these. If I was there tonight, I'm going for one of these.
Battered Mars bar with whiskey custard.
Oh,
by the way,
that sounds good.
Doesn't that sound magic?
I mean, it's probably a gazillion calories in that.
Oh, seriously?
Right,
oh,
yeah.
You're on the bike the next day for about 17 hours to get rid of that, aren't you? It is, of course, a deep-fried Mars that's covered in a gooey whiskey-infused custard.
Brilliant. I like that.
Hey, she was brilliant. Remember
Nigella?
Oh, man.
She was good, wasn't she?
She was fantastic. She is absolutely fantastic.
Good.
That wasn't ordinary food.
No.
That was tonight's Hill Dickinson food. Well done, my old son. Right, we're going to let it start with Coral and Dave Stevens.
The Coral Daily Download on talkSPORT with Coral. We're here for the fans this season. 18 plus, gambleaware.org.
A very good morning, Steve-O. If you don't get me wrong, you look like the type of guy that would love a battered Mars bar with whiskey custard.
Good morning, Jeff. For anyone
Morning,
listening, for anyone just tuning in, this still is talkSPORT, yes, the nation's leading sporting radio station. I'm trying to think the fella. I got to admit, I do love a bit of MasterChef, and I think it's Sean Pertwee, the actor that narrates that. Let's just say his job is safe after your audition there, boys.
Well, quick question for you: Is he any relation to Doctor Who?
John. Yeah, I think he's his son. I think he's John.
That's a relation, to be fair.
And do you know who else did John Pertwee famously play?
Wurzel Gummidge.
There you go. Your start of a 10.
Very good shout.
Hey, Steve-O, he's devastated because he loves a competition, Andy, you know what I mean?
Well, okay, here's another quiz question for you. When was the last time Scotland played an international in Liverpool?
Never.
No. Ali, over to you.
A friendly.
No, an international and a massive game.
Oh, I've got it. Don Masson penalty. Kenny Dalglish header. We beat Wales 2-0. They accused Joe Jordan of putting his hand up. That's Anfield 1977 or 78.
There you go. And it got you to the World Cup in 78.
Correct.
Very well
done.
There
you go. 2-0. Yeah, Andy. 2-0 to Ali.
And
listen.
The Welsh goalkeeper was Di Davis.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Great names.
And my sister was at the game.
Final quiz question for your mate. Democratic Republic of Congo. What a game tonight. When did they last qualify for a World Cup?
74.
Oh, Ali, you're on fire. You're on absolute fire.
What a shout that is.
That is ridiculous. It'd be brilliant if I fired under 3 results in the group section.
The good news for your mate with his DR Congo strip on, they are 2-5 to win this qualifier tonight. Jamaica 7-4. So what a huge game.
Well, it is massive, isn't it? And it's great because Steve, like I said to Andy there, he is the first thing he said to me when I walked in the hotel last night. He is so up for it. And we forget, you know what I mean? It means so much to these nations and these people, doesn't it?
Certainly
does. Of course it does. The only thing, I'm going to slightly contradict myself now. You look at, we'll come on to the World Cup, the European qualifiers, obviously.
Yes.
Sweden got 2 points, finished bottom of that group, didn't win a game, and yet here they are now, 1 game away.
On the cusp.
A game, by the way, they're odds on to win.
Yeah.
Qualify. Andy, that
hurts.
does sum up
the
bloatedness of the World Cup, doesn't it?
It does. Look, it's going to be interesting, Dave, this summer. 48 teams. It's and the whole tournament itself is going to be spread far and wide. We know Mexico, Canada, US, and the time zone, the different time zones, watching matches. So it's going to be a different one to assess, I think, and whether or not how much everyone really absolutely gets into it. Of course, it will help if the teams you're supporting are doing really well. Dave, just asking about these friendlies. How much, because these friendlies, the nature of them, so many players withdrawing from matches, not just the England players, across the board, there's lots of players withdrawing from various nations. When the punters go for these sort of matches, how do you see a bit of a drop off in these games in terms of the amount of money that's being wagered?
We do, and I think, look, punters are quite right, actually, to almost vote with their pockets. Look, there will be some interest, particularly when we know the teams. But if you look at let's face it, fairly lacklustre performance against Uruguay, the punters will know, there's massive FA Cup games coming up. There's obviously, we're back to the domestic action, but there'll be some interest, Andy. But you're right, there is definitely a drop-off. Look, in terms of England tonight, I say so many players dropped out. But England are 1-2 to beat a Japan side. Ali, what did you make of Japan when they played Scotland?
Do you know, it's difficult to gauge, Steve. I said to Andy, you know, they're clearly a talented team, you know, gifted, some good players. Of that, there's no doubt. But because there wasn't a really competitive edge to the game, Steve-o, I always find it difficult to gauge, you know, but clearly a talented side. You know, they'll pose England one or two problems. I don't think there's any doubt, but I think they're undefeated, actually, in the last 7 games against European opposition. So they can play. I think they're on maybe 18, 19th in the FIFA rankings. So they've got something about them.
I agree, and I think 100-30, the draw is a definite runner there. Scotland versus Ivory Coast, Ali, again, pretty close in the betting. Ivory Coast are favourites. Scotland, 11-4 shots, 12-5 the draw. Again, the draw feels a bit of a runner. I mean, the game that I think is cruel is Wales versus Northern Ireland.
Oh, man.
Here's what you could have won. I mean, for these players, Andy, how do these players get themselves up for this tonight?
With great difficulty, Dave, to be perfectly honest with you. I particularly some of the more experienced boys in those camps. It's not easy on the back because it's still raw from knowing that you're not going to be taking part in the biggest event on the planet this summer. Yeah. So it's not easy to do it. This is where the coaches and the managers and the staff around the players, how they earn their corn today, because they got to try and get everybody right up for it. They have, because you don't want to get beat again. You've just lost one game. You've got to try and bounce back now and get going on a bit of a run.
Steve, any recent news?
No, look, we all head towards, obviously, the Grand National coming up week after next. Irish version this weekend. Just very quickly on these qualifiers, though. Czech Republic, 5-2. Denmark, 11-10 favourites. Turkey, 21-20 to beat Kosovo. What a story that would be. I mentioned Sweden. They are favourites, 11-10 to beat Poland. And here's the one I'd be interested in your views. Bosnia, 6-1. Italy, 2-1 on. Italy, 5-1 on to qualify. Bosnia, 3-1.
Wouldn't be near that, mate.
I couldn't agree. That's what I was going to ask you. This is an Italian side that has struggled, we know, even though it should be easy to get to these World Cup finals. Bosnia at home. I just could not be touching Italy at odds on, and could be more disappointment for them.
Brilliant, Steve. Enjoy your football tonight.
Take care, Dave.
Take care.
Cheers, fellas.
That was the latest look at the latest odds with Coral. 18+ gambleaware.org. Now, Neil Warnock is going to join us next, but a nice wee message in here from Tom. Andy, just to let you know, never mind the bike, Ali, for 17 hours. After that Mars bar, you'd go in the toilet for about 14 or 15. But a wee bit too much information, Tom, but here we are coming from. Neil Warnock joins us next.
The Coral Daily Download on talkSPORT with Coral. We're here for the fans this season. 18+ gambleaware.org.
Back on Thursday, Simon and Willie exchanged a fair bit of banter in the boxing hour on that day going into the fight.
I said, I think you're going to get beat, is what I said, Willie.
Is that what you said?
I did, yeah. I did. I'm happy to eat crow.
Simon, have you ever boxed a day in your life?
No, I haven't, no.
You should have no comment on boxing whatsoever. You should leave it to the boxers.
We will see.
Because you've never had a fight in your life.
We will see. And when you have an opinion on something in life that you've never done, we can have a conversation about that as well.
The only thing you can box, Simon, listen to me. The only thing you can box is box in Tesco's shop top and centre. Well, that's what you can box.
Willie, if you lose that fight, you'll probably be working in
You
there.
shouldn't give
right?
any... Hey, but I've got plenty.
Good.
I don't need to
well,
go
let's
anywhere.
see you win.
I don't
and
do this for the money. I do it for peace.
Good, fantastic, good. So when we see on Monday, if you've
I
won,
do it
you'll
for
be able
peace,
to say all
Simon,
this.
peace.
But don't lose, Willie, now. Don't lose. Whatever you do, don't lose.
But Simon, if you've never boxed a day in your life, and you've never felt a punch in your face, you should have no comment to boxing.
I'm not allowed
ever
an opinion.
in your life.
I'm not allowed an opinion.
Forget about this.
I'm not
You're
allowed
not
an opinion.
an opinion because you've never boxed.
Okay.
You don't know.
All right. Well, hopefully my opinion will mean
you
nothing.
should keep to the
Willie,
football.
But if I'm wrong, if I'm right, Willie, you are
should
going to eat some crow, buddy.
Well, he didn't need to eat anything because the scores were wide, 99, 91, 98, 92, 98, 92. So, Willie, you got out of that shift at Tesco on Sunday. Well done. Good morning.
Definitely. I got out of it nice and clear. Thank God I don't need to work in Tesco's no more. And we're on to the next one.
Tyson Fury, Floyd Mayweather, Canelo Alvarez. Just hearing these names makes you think money and the hundreds of millions of dollars, pounds or Saudi riyals in boxing. But that's at the top. At the bottom, it isn't quite the same. Even for those on the rise, there's not an awful lot of cash in the boxing world. And if you're just starting out, well, it can be a very costly exercise indeed. But don't take my word for it. Here's the former European champion talkSPORT's Spencer Oliver.
You're turning professional and you're boxing, let's say, York Hall on a non-televised fight. You have to sell tickets to earn any money, but you have to cover the wages of your opponent as well. So if you don't have the ability to be able to sell enough tickets, you effectively have to pay to fight.
A far cry then from Jake Paul facing Mike Tyson in 2024, when the purse was reported to be around £48 million. But the vast amounts of cash lining the top dog's pockets isn't the norm in a typical fight.
Let's say you're lucky and you get between 5 and 10 grand. You're going to get 10 grand max for that. 10% goes to the trainer, 25% goes to the manager. Then we've got the tax man to pay as well. So we're cutting that money in at least half. So now you've got 5 grand for a 10-week camp. So you're talking about a guy here earning, he might be clearing 500 quid a week. How do you support a family on that? So boxers chase the dream. And, you know, there's probably 2% of them that actually make it.
So say you do make it and you start to rise up the ranks. Strikers Boxing, a training academy, says the mid-tier fighters can earn more, somewhere between £10,000 and £50,000 a fight, depending on record, profile, opponent and popularity of weight class. It's only at the top level does the real cash start flowing in, with the top-tier professionals, i.e. those going for titles, earning 6 figures a fight. Something else you'll have heard of is the terms prize fighter or journeyman. A prize fighter is, as it sounds, someone who picks up fights where they can and gets a nice big check if they win. Journeymen are the fighters who take on up-and-comers, effectively used for experience in the ring. Even if they're going up against a real prospect, a young Anthony Joshua, for example, these guys will be lucky to earn more than 10 grand. So the average boxer isn't as rich as you'd think.
Okay, 8:34, Tuesday the 31st of March. It's all kicking off here in the studio. This is talkSPORT Breakfast with Arnold Clark. There's over 20,000 new cars online to choose from, so they will have the car for you. Ally and Andy with you this morning. Here's another one. This is going from bad to worse for Tottenham.
Go on.
Just one's come through on my phone there. A bit more bad news. Due to scheduled hernia surgery, Tottenham keeper Guillermo Vicario is expected to miss the next 2 managers.
Oh, yeah. I thought you were being serious there for a split second. What do you like?
Thank you very much.
Exactly.
I'm here all week.
Hook, line and sinker, you have me. Right, not sure Zerbi is the right man for Spurs to keep them up this year. In actual fact, says Mark, I think I'd rather have the Pink Panther and Cato as his assistant. And I think Cato would definitely ruffle a few feathers. Thank you very much for that, Mark.
There's no doubt. Now, Thomas Tuchel has gone just one more game before he selects his 26-man World Cup squad. talkSPORT Gabriel Bonner thinks players at withdrawals should be banned from their next domestic game. And despite the pair leaving the squad ahead of the Japan game tonight, England manager Thomas Tuchel defended, and so he should, Arsenal stars Rice and Saka.
They had a medical assessment, wanted desperately to play, to just get the narrative straight, wanted desperately to be involved, but it made just no sense to take this risk. If it would have been maybe a last game of the season, we would have kept them and tried everything, but in this moment of the season it did not make sense. The risk for making it worse was just way too big. They were both in discomfort, clearly in discomfort when we did the medical assessment, so it made absolutely no sense that they stay.
No, absolutely delighted to see joining us now as a man who, got to say, didn't ask Neil that competition's now fierce because 78-year-old Roy Hodgson is back. Yeah? He's only counting himself as the second oldest active boss in football. Neil, a very good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Morning, Neil.
Hi, lad. Yeah, no, I did message Roy to say if he ever wants a young assistant, I'm available.
Brilliant.
Neil, tell me, mate, first things first, how are you enjoying it? How's things going?
Yeah, very good, thank you, Ali. Yeah, not bad at all, sir. I'm getting, obviously with the international, but I don't enjoy international breaks when there's nothing at stake.
I know.
I can't watch the games. It's, not I said boring, but nothing in it for me when there's no competitiveness there.
Well, it's difficult to argue with, I mean, I watched the highlights of the England game on Friday, and the Scotland game was, the exact same the following day. I mean, when there's not a lot at stake, players, I don't care what MD says, but players, they play the game differently. They're just not as committed, mate. But the one thing I was going to ask you, I mean, there's obviously a little bit of controversy about one or two players pulling out of squads, international duty. This isn't a new thing, Neil.
No, it's been there all the time, hasn't it, really? And it's not going to change anything. I know what Gabby's saying about you missed the next game, and it would stop everything. But I don't see that, really. They'll not be pulling out of the World Cup. And they've got so much to do now, haven't they, the Arsenal players? It could be a disaster if they don't win the league. And Man City are there crawling up, aren't they, behind us? I thought they would be. By the way, David Silva, Ali, Andy, was my favourite ever Premier League player.
There you go.
Do you know, it's been, Neil, that little poll we did this morning has been unanimous. Everyone, pretty much everybody has always turned around and said that it's David Silva over Bernardo. Yeah. And Bernardo's been brilliant as well, hasn't he?
Andy, you'd have Bernardo in your team, though, wouldn't you?
Not many. Great little player, and he put his foot in. He does a bit of everything, Bernardo. He really does. Neil, can we ask you, want to talk about De Zerbi, right? I'm intrigued to know. Look, you've been in this scenario where you're walking through the door. The first time you get everybody together is an opportunity to just put something down, put some markers down in that dressing room straight away. What do you think is the first things that he's got to address?
I mean, I've done 3 or 4, sort of saving teams at the end of the season. I've always had 10 games or up to 14 games.
Right.
To save them. So I've had a better look at them. And in fact, a couple of times we lost the first 2 games, but managed to stay up. So it is a difficult one. I mean, I think in Tottenham's case, Andy, I just think the dressing room's toxic. I don't think Frank was is a bad manager or any of the others. I just think the dressing room needs to. The only way around it is if they change. I mean, some of the players in that dressing room, bloody hell, you wouldn't want them to be in the trenches alongside you, would you?
No.
But Neil, see what you say there, and I couldn't agree more, because I've said it for weeks and weeks now. And you look at teams down the bottom, the one thing that I think the first thing you have to have a number of players in your dressing room that are willing to roll up sleeves and go that extra half a yard for you. Now, I'm not sure they've got that. I certainly think teams like Forest, Leeds, and certainly West Ham look as though they've got that. But how important then is it? I mean, that the new manager get in there, because effectively, it is down to the players.
It will be, yeah. And I know the way that he plays. Wow. I mean, if they start passing it around the back against these teams like Sunderland, then you know, you fear for the worst. But listen, it's something, I didn't think the other manager was there, you know. In fact, they said that somebody rang me and said that a team beginning with the letter T was after you, Neil, and I thought it was Tottenham. And it was Torquay, Ally. It was Torquay. And I thought it was Tottenham for a minute, but no. But anyhow, I'm sure they'll sort it out. And then you're talking about the VAR, aren't you?
Oh,
I mean, that's another big thing for me, Ally. What they don't realise is when I called it a day a few years ago, the referees at that stage were the worst group of referees I'd ever seen in the Championship. And they're all now in the Premiership. I feel sorry for Howard Webb, mate. When you get people like John Brooks, Pawson and Ed Smart doing VAR, they're not going to change until they get a better group of referees, really. Because this group are the same as that's not been very good refereeing.
Yeah, Neil, what are the referees like lower down the leagues? How do you find them?
You know, this year I've watched. Obviously, I were in charge for a few games at Torquay till Jimmy Bell came in, and I went in a couple of times. A couple of young lads. I was really impressed with them. I went to the dressing room after. They all thought I was going to have a go because we didn't win one of the games. And I said to the guy, listen, I don't want this to go any further, but I thought you had a good game. Don't tell anybody I said that.
You're getting soft, Neil. Hey, I'm beginning to worry about you, mate.
yeah. Get me a bad reputation. But no, there are. I was quite pleased with them. And I mean, that's what Howard Webb needs. But the only thing is, Howard refereed, and yes, laws of the game, great. But you know, Howard Webb, he used common sense. My dad was a referee, and he said the law of the game that nobody, you know, that you don't put down in writing is common sense. And I still think there's opportunities for referees to use common sense and not worry about getting a rollicking off. Because I don't think Howard would give them a rollicking at times when they use common sense. And it's something that I don't see enough of. But I do, you know, I do feel that there's still the referees. Some of the referees have improved, like Tim Robinson, Harrington. If he just relaxes a bit, and then you've got Anthony Taylor, Oliver, and Barrett. And my favourite is Jared Gillett.
Yeah,
and he was one that I actually kept writing about when I was lower down, saying he's got to go to the top. And he uses common sense, does Jared, and that's why I like it, mate.
Just a quick one, Neil. I love talking to you about the Championship, Nick. You know it's one of my favourite divisions. Frank, incredible job at Coventry. Who do you think's going to grab that second place? Because I tell you what Middlesbrough, Ipswich, Millwall have done tremendous. Hull, Southampton are on a great run. What are you thinking, mate?
Well, to be fair, I mean, every time I think Ipswich are going to do it, they miss out.
Yeah.
I'm doing the last day, you know, at Sky. I'm doing the last day of the Championship, so that promises to be a great day. And I'm looking forward to that. But Middlesbrough, I mean, they should do it, but they've been so close over the last few years. They've almost been like a Cinderella. So you know, they'll be desperate to do it. But you know, with Ipswich, I think in the playoffs, you've got Southampton coming up, the team on form. You'd have to fancy them in the playoffs. So it's a great league, Ali. I love the Championship. You never see anybody. You know, the bottom of the league can be the top of the league any day of the week. It's such a, and the fans, the number of fans, we are lucky to have. I mean, we got 3,900 and some of the other night at Torquay.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, which other country gets that sort of following? It's unbelievable, our game.
That is, it's phenomenal. Neil, brilliant to talk to you again this morning. Take care.
Great stuff, Neil.
Bye.
Okay, still to come in breakfast this morning.
Superstar Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Benchmarks Kitchens and Joinery. Get trade prices on kitchens to suit all styles and budgets at Benchmarks.
Okay, an interesting one is the direction of Chelsea starting to concern one or two of the players who are missing out in Champions League football with the final straw for the likes of Palmer, Fernandes and perhaps Cucurella. We'll be talking about Chelsea next. And England legend John Barnes will join us in about 15 minutes, so do not miss that. That was our breakfast preview with Travis Perkins.
Superstar Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Travis Perkins. With 250 hire branches nationwide, it's easy to hire at Travis Perkins.
Thomas Tuchel has a whole lot fewer Arsenal players than he might have imagined in the coming days, because 10 Arsenal players have now withdrawn, not just from England duty, but from international duty. Eze, Gabriel, Hincapié, Madueke, Rice, Saka, Saliba, Timber, Trossard, Zubimendi. 4 Arsenal players had originally pulled out of international duty at the start of last week, a day after the Carabao Cup final, a match that they lost to Manchester City. They were Gabriel with a knee injury, Saliba recurring pain in his left ankle, Trossard a hip injury, and Eze a calf problem. Now Zubimendi and Hincapié are the latest to withdraw. In fact, both Saka and Rice joined the England camp on Friday, but didn't feature in the draw with Uruguay on the same day, and now they've withdrawn. Sir Alex Ferguson used to remove players from international duty. In 2011, he described friendlies as a waste of time. Arsenal invincible Martin Keown is in our midst. Martin, are Arsenal being hit with a disastrous injury crisis, or is Arteta doing a Fergie?
Well, there's a lot of players that are injured going into this international. I hope that you're not making it as an inference that Arsenal are deliberately taking players out, because I think they're genuinely injured, Jim. So let's just go for each one. So Eze didn't make the cup final.
Do you think all of them are genuinely injured?
Odegaard didn't make the cup final. They've been disappointed to have done so. I think there was another player in there as well. So 3 players missed the cup final. Zubimendi actually he played in the first game for Spain. He's got injured in that game. So I make that 4 of them. Gabriel, who's been pulled out of the squad, got injured early in the season playing Brazil and was out for 2 months.
The talkSPORT 20k giveaway.
In the Hall of the Mountain King by Edward Grieg. Yeah, you're impressed with that.
I'm very impressed with that.
You know me, I have never ever wanted to blow my own trumpet, but I have been in some form this morning, haven't I?
You certainly have.
Steve was firing all sorts.
I
was playing keepy up with Steve at one point. I was actually answering him before he was asking them. Terrific, but anyway, it's not all about me. This is talkSPORT Breakfast. Ally and Andy with you this morning. It's competition time, and it's a big one. Very big one. talkSPORT are giving away to one lucky listener, the chance to bag £20,000 completely tax free. That's right, £20,000. Here's how to enter, guys. Your chance to win. Text WIN to 83338. Text costs £2.50 plus your standard network rate, or call 0343 418 7260. Lines close on the 9th of April at 4 p.m. That's correct. Obviously, when your phone rings, you'll have to pick it up. 18 plus, UK residents only. This is a network promotion. Full T's and C's at talksport.com. As you heard, once again, for your chance to win £20,000, text WIN to 83338 now.
The talkSPORT 20k giveaway.
This has got to be a wind-up.
Go on.
Right, we're on the theme. We're continuing on the theme of food. This is a heck of a story going around involving KitKat. Right?
Smaller?
Thieves have stolen.
Oh, that's right. You're right.
Do you know this?
Well, I did hear it. Like 50,000 bars or something like that.
Hear this? Thieves have stolen more than 400,000 KitKat chocolate bars weighing around 12 tons from a truck in Europe. Right. The bars were stolen when the vehicle was distributing the bars along a route running from a factory in central Italy to Poland. It's a dodgy area, that, by the way.
Forgive
Mad
me,
KitKat fans over there.
I was going to say,
right.
I can't see how the great and the good of the underworld are all going to be on the phone to these people saying, by the way, what are you doing with them KitKats? Because I'm interested.
No, I get it. If it was a lorry taking Mars bars and they've heard us selling the thing with a whiskey, there's a potential market there.
There is.
Right, but I can't imagine Bugsy Malone, right, onto Finger Seagull, right? That's the lorry left the depot, lads.
It's unreal though, isn't it? 400,000 bars. Wow.
This is mental. This is not only the massive chocolate heist to have taken place recently in Europe, with a British man sentenced to 18 months in jail in July 2023 for stealing 200,000 chocolate eggs.
You're joking.
No. Man, he was easy to catch. He couldn't move, could he? He was sitting there like that. The boy would run away. He says, I can't move. I've had 147 chocolate eggs a day.
Unreal. I mean, listen, we know nowadays people are...
I tell you what, and I'm not in any way, shape or form encouraging theft of any description, but I'd certainly go for the chocolate eggs before a KitKat. You know what I mean? If I was going to hijack a lorry.
I mean, once you've had them for a week or 10 days or something... Then
you fancy a KitKat?
You got to sling them all away. What are you going to do with that lot?
Where does the KitKat... Well, there's a question for you. If you were going to have a chocolate heist and you and the Birmingham lads want to get together and stop a lorry, perhaps travelling up the M6, it wouldn't be a KitKat lorry.
No.
What lorry would it be?
It'd be the dairy milk one for me, probably.
Just dairy milk.
Yeah, just the plain one, not the whole nut one, just the plain. Fruit and nut, I don't mind, but
actually, I'm the complete opposite. I am the complete opposite. I'm having a bit of the whole nut. I'm getting the Glasgow boys. We're doing the whole nut lorry.
I know. Listen, theft is a scourge of modern day society. By the way, it is because people are nicking everything.
I don't even want to talk about that. Right, my youngin walks in. My youngin walks in one of the stores, right?
Yeah.
And he tells me they're not allowed to go up to them now.
Well, the people just walk in and...
They walk in and thieve.
Ali, I watch it at the station. When I get the train that come down at talkSPORT and I get the train, I have seen so many times, I just watch people walking in, nicking, just helping themselves to a sandwich and just walking off. And listen, why would you go running after people for a sarnie? You wouldn't do it. But it's got to ridiculous levels. It really has.
It's terrible, eh?
It is shocking. Well, there you go.
And my youngin works, as I say, he's at uni, but he works part-time. And he tells me, he said, Dad, they tell us not to.
No, you can't.
And a lot of them, he said, they've got security guards. Do we really need security guards on the door? You know what I mean? We do, actually.
We need them everywhere. But
anyway.
I'm afraid it's... there you go. That's for another day, pal.
That's for another day. Meanwhile, there's somebody walking about with 400,000 KitKats.
Wondering what he's going to do with them. Yeah.
How many cups of tea do you think you'd need to drink? Right?
That's a good view.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Imagine going in for your mates at summer. Listen, cup of tea, don't bother with the biscuits, I'll bring them. And you walk in with 142,000 KitKats. What have you been up to? It's a long story.
I was going to say, is it the chunky ones or is it the forfeit? Right, but let's not go there. Carry on.
But, well, the question is, the cream eggs. You like a wee cream egg?
I do.
What would your cream egg? Would you rather? You know what I mean? Because we still at Easter, see next week.
Yeah.
We still hide the eggs in the garden, right? And then go and have a look for the eggs.
You're joking?
No.
Are you really?
I'm deadly serious, deadly serious. I love it. We get the wee ones, you know, those wee ones like that?
Yeah.
We're so good. And it's competitive because whoever finds the most wins the game.
I've actually stopped eating chocolate, Christy, me.
No.
Yeah, I have. You wouldn't believe it, would you? I live like always. Whenever
Seriously?
Whenever you're in the car and you pull in for a bit of petrol or something, always got a bar of chocky. Yep, stopped eating it. I just decided I'd had enough of it really. And
fair play.
I'm going through wine gums at a feral rate. And
no, Maynards.
But
other wine gums are available.
Stopped eating the stuff.
And you feel better for it?
Well,
not really.
Not really. I don't, to be honest with you. But I have managed to do it literally.
Do you know what? I'm at a
stop
stage.
eating it.
I'm at a stage now, Andy. I'm like, my God, I can just see myself walking across the road, you know, getting hit by a bus and lying there going, I wish I had that wine gum. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I'm at the stage.
Yes.
I think myself in small amounts. You know, I'm not a great, massive. Might surprise you. Chocolate, salt and vinegar, Chris.
That's right. I remember you said to me before that's the go-to break when you pull in.
It's a killer for me.
Yeah.
That. And then no maybe chocolate. The bigger pardon, the salt and vinegar hula hoops.
Yes, you like them.
Oh, I'm still sticking the fingers in. You know what I mean? It's terrible. While I'm driving, one hand.
Oh no.
Oh man. What are we talking about now?
I don't know. I can't remember.
I've got somebody shouting at me. Let's break.
Right,
save us from this. Okay, we'll take a short break. This is the fourth shortest reign of any Premier League manager. Just 5 days longer than Ange at Forest and 35 longer than 9-day Tudor Queen Lady Jane Grey. Oh no, you're taking a mickey now. And for a bit more context, it's thought that the average human would be able to walk from London to the heart of the Swiss Alps in such time as Tudor has been in charge. I want to know who worked that one out. We're going to take a call on it. Somebody that's called 03717 223344. It's Eli. Eli, very good morning to you. Thanks for taking the time to call us this morning. Is this the right thing that's happened, Eli?
Yeah, good morning. Talking about Tottenham Hotspur now, my club that I've supported over maybe 50 odd years.
Yeah.
What I'm saying to you is, picking the manager, I'm not sure which type of manager you want for the next 7 games, but I don't think it would hurt for a massive football reset, a Tottenham Hotspur reset, to actually go down.
That's a heck of a statement to make, Eli, because look, I don't think there's any guarantees you can back up, mate. Are you saying you could go down, spend a couple of years down there, rebuild and come back up? Is that what you're saying?
Ali, yeah, good morning to you, sir. I support Hearts, my Scottish team as well, so good luck to them on Saturday. But yeah, back to Tottenham Hotspur. Yeah, yes, Ali, I feel we might not, with the squad we've got. We've only got 3 players there at our club at the moment who actually want to be there and want to fight. And what it actually means to be a Tottenham Hotspur FC player.
From the Toffees to the Tractor Boys, the Eagles to the Seagulls, Gunners, Bees, Hammers and Magpies, Premier League teams have got a load of crazy nicknames. Ever wondered where they came from? Let's start with Everton. They're dubbed the Toffees, but why? Well, because when the club was formed, just down the road there were 2 local toffee shops. Ye Ancient Everton Toffee House and Mother Noblet's Toffee Shop were big fan favourites. Next, they say if you can't beat them, join them, and that's exactly what Ipswich Town did when it came to their nickname. The term Tractor Boys used to be chanted by their opponents as a way of putting the team down for their farming background. But during one game back in the late 90s, Ipswich were 1-0 up and they decided to flip the script. 1-0 to the Tractor Boys, they sang, and a new nickname was born. Let's head to Leicester, famous for more than just a red, well, orangey cheese and Jamie Vardy. Leicestershire is also the birthplace of fox hunting, hence the Foxes. Next up, turns out apples are not the only fruit that don't fall far from the tree. Bournemouth's nickname, the Cherries, comes from the fact the club's stadium was originally built right next to a bunch of cherry orchards. This next story actually involves two club nicknames. It started with Crystal Palace. They were having an absolute nightmare run back in the early 70s. They'd been relegated after a terrible spell and manager Malcolm Allison decided enough was enough. He wanted a new nickname, something strong, fast and destined for success. Something exactly like an eagle. But there's more to this one. Brighton were in search of a nickname too, and Palace finally gave them what they needed. In a heated match between the two back in 1976, Palace fans began chanting, "Eagles, Eagles," and some clever Brighton fans came up with the perfect reply, "Seagulls, Seagulls." Not all club nicknames have a crazy story though. Take the Gunners. That just comes from the fact a group of munitions workers in the Royal Arsenal factory in Woolwich set up the club in 1886. On the flip side, some nicknames seem simple, but there's a bit more to them, like West Ham. The Hammers is actually nothing to do with the ham part of the name. It comes from the fact the club used to be called Thames Ironworks FC and was made up of workmen and shipbuilders. So next time the away end's chanting their crazy nickname, you'll now know exactly where it came from.
Final hour, Andy Boy, morning at 4 minutes past 9, Tuesday the 31st of March. A very good morning to one and all. This is talkSPORT Breakfast with Arnold Clark. Browse the UK's best used car deals and score your dream car today. Check out the website for more details. Ally and Andy with you this morning. There is still plenty to come in the final hour. It's been all changed at Dagenham and Redbridge FC since YouTube star KSI bought into the club, Andy, and the appointment of Andy Carroll as manager.
Saw that.
Brilliant. Yeah. We'll be learning more about that in the KSI era with Chief Executive Officer John Grabowski later on. And following his announcement of retirement, we'll be speaking to a man who holds a unique place in British athletics history, being the first, we spoke about it, being the first British man to break both the sub-10 second barrier in the 100 metres and the sub-20 in the 200 metres. That's some achievement, by the way.
It does take some doing.
Adam Gemili will join us next. Looking forward to that. We'll join us very, very shortly. Not next, but very, very shortly. All that and more to come. But now we are joined by a proper legend.
Marsh it towards Thomas. Barnes, maybe. Yes! It'll be Barnes. Oh, brilliantly! What a fabulous free kick goal. Catch me if you can, because I'm an England man. Playing for England. England! Walters. Barnes!
I played in an England side with John Barnes, and I looked at him and thought, my esteem for him just rose. Yeah. And I thought, that's how you answer these people.
John Barnes now. Might go all the way for England. Barnes scored! And England, amazingly, are into the league.
That's correct. Went on to not one, but 2 World Cups for England. Earned 79 caps for his country. But most importantly, he's a vocalist behind that iconic World in Motion raps. A very good morning to John Barnes. Barnesy, morning, mate. How are you?
Morning, John.
I'm good, mate. Andy, how you doing?
We're
nice
good,
to see you.
Great to
nice
see
to see you both. But every time I mention that I said the legend John Barnes, they play the England song, everyone thinks I'm a rapper. No one knows I play football.
I hear you, but we certainly do, mate. And that's where we're going to start. We're going to start with England, Barnesy. In terms of these, when I ask you about these, the games, obviously a game against Uruguay and a game tonight against Japan, I called them kind of necessary evils. I think that, you've got to have games for the build-up for the World Cup, but there is an element of perhaps 19-20 of his squad knowing that they'll be going to the World Cup and they want to avoid injury. How did you find them?
Well, of course, yeah, you have that element of it in terms of people wanting to avoid injuries. But I think that you also, why I say they're necessary is because you really know what the England team, maybe not the squad, but you know what the England team should be. And of course, everyone has an opinion as the season goes on. Is why is he not playing? Why is he not playing? And then when you see that, the team that a lot of people want to play are the players that want to be included in the 2 games, you think, well, we know who should be playing, we know where they should be playing, and we kind of know what the squad's going to be type of thing. So it's not to rule people out, but, everyone, fans get excited about players who may do well and then feel he should be in the England team, he should be in the England team, but we really know who should be in the England team.
What do you think, John, when you look at the makeup of this particular squad? What do you think about genuine England's chances this summer? I've concerns about, not as individuals, the defenders, but as a whole, that area I'm not totally convinced by. What about you?
Well, on the Gareth's tenure, we came close twice, and I think we were probably better equipped to maybe win it. But with this squad, with Thomas Tuchel, I'm sure that we will maximise our potential and we'll do well. Which means that in the way that the seeds and the groups are staged, we really should go through and get to the quarterfinals, semi-finals, finals even, and possibly win it. But I think obviously our best chances in the last 2 tournaments, and we also were lucky in the teams that we actually played. But I feel that, it's going to be difficult for us to win it, more difficult for us to win it this time than it has been in the past. But I still feel they do well. I still feel they'll get to the latter stages, maybe even get to a semi-final or a final, and maybe even win it. But for us to expect to win it just because we're England, for me, is unrealistic.
Barnesy, what differences do you see? I mean, I think Gareth did a phenomenal job. I really do. And was very, very lucky and took the squad as close as they've been. What differences do you see in Thomas Tuchel and Gareth? And what difference will Thomas Tuchel have to make to get him to make that final jump, if you like?
Well, the difference is obviously Gareth massaged players' egos and allowed them to perform, and all the focus was on the players playing, not necessarily Gareth doing tactics and Gareth being vociferous on the sideline and Gareth making hard decisions in terms of substitutions. He allowed the players to play, whereas Thomas Tuchel's different. Thomas Tuchel is all about him being the manager, which I believe should be the right way.
Yeah.
However, do English players respond to that? We don't know. So Thomas Tuchel will make hard decisions as to who he's going to leave out, who he's going to substitute, who he's going to shout at. And unfortunately, English players don't respond to that. So it'll be interesting to see how they fare.
Yeah. One player, John, that seemingly is on everyone's list with a bit of a question mark next to him is, bizarrely, Phil Foden for England. Where do you stand on that one? And how much do you think he is under pressure for his spot?
Well, I don't think he's under pressure for his spot in the squad.
Right.
But in terms of the team, the problem you have is that, of course, you have Cole Palmer as well, and you have, Morgan Rogers. You have other number 10s, and you can only play one number 10. The whole idea that because you have him and you have, you have Cole Palmer, so play all of these number 10s, you can't. So finding a system, which is what I know Thomas Tuchel likes. So look at someone like Elliot Anderson, for example, who I know will be playing because, of course, he likes players like that. As to whether he was going to be given the freedom for a Cole Palmer and a Phil Foden at the same time, or even together, even individually. That's the question. So I don't think that it is as nailed on that he will be in the starting 11. Yes, I think he'll go in the squad, obviously, but in the starting 11, we know the types of players that Thomas Tuchel likes.
I'll tell you, you mentioned that there, Barnes. It's interesting, and we generally speaking, we do know the players that Thomas Tuchel likes. Dare I say it, mate, bizarrely or rightly or wrongly, one of the players that he doesn't look as though he likes would be Trent. I mean, I know I was over, I've seen him a couple of times. I saw him in the Manchester City game. He did absolutely fine back in the Real Madrid side. But unless I'm reading the room wrong, I don't think he fancies him. Has he still got a chance of going, do you think, Trent?
I think Trent will have a chance of going, but I don't think he'll start. You see, the thing about it, if you look at Trent, from a right-back position, Trent was Liverpool's creator. He's not going to be a right-back position. He's not going to be England's creator in terms of what England has. And he's not Real Madrid's creator in terms of what Real Madrid have, which is why it's not going well for Real Madrid at this moment in time. So unless you're going to create an environment for Trent to be the playmaker, but then that's not going to happen with England. It happened at Liverpool under Jurgen Klopp. It doesn't happen at Real Madrid when they got Vinicius Junior, Mbappe, Bellingham and other players, Valverde. And for England, it definitely isn't going to happen. So what he will want from Trent is he has to be a right-back who can create now and again, get forward, but to defend. Orthodox defending, coming forward in an orthodox way, going down and putting crosses in. So I suppose because Trent has been used to be playing a particular style of football for Liverpool, which suited him, and it doesn't work for him at Real Madrid. So he may or may not go, but I definitely don't think that he will be his first choice right-back, even if he does go.
Yeah. Be interesting to see the game tonight, how intense, how competitive it is. John, just moving it on quickly. Obviously, we've had a week or so now to digest the Mo Salah news that he's finally calling time on his Liverpool career at the end of this season. Your thoughts on how amazing he's been? And also, do you have any ideas, John, on what sort of player, who even a name maybe, that could possibly come in and pick up where he's left off?
Well, he's been incredible, hasn't he? You know, in the last 10 years, he's been one of the best players Liverpool have ever had. In the Premier League, he's up there with Thierry Henry and whoever you want to mention as one of the best players the Premier League has ever seen. I don't think it was a good time for him. I think we should have really got it the end of the season and then he left rather than announcing it now, because I don't think that necessarily helps. It doesn't help Liverpool. Liverpool aren't doing particularly well, so that is a negative. Does that help the manager on his slot in terms of the fans loving him and he's not playing, he wants to go? That's not really going to help. In terms of replacements, if you look at what we have, our problem is going forward and scoring goals. I mean, we look at Wirtz and Ekitike and Isak, we've got Ngomoa, we still got Gakpo. I don't feel that we necessarily have to replace him, because I don't think that the solution is to go and get another player to give him £400,000 a week to replace Mo Salah. We have enough strikers, we have enough attackers. Our problem is in midfield and defence. That's really what we have to do. So I don't think we have to go and replace him necessarily. But he's been an incredible footballer for Liverpool, one of the best.
Just a quick one, mate. I mean, it wouldn't be a massive shock, but I'd have to say it'd probably be a surprise. Liverpool knocking out PSG. I mean, PSG look as though they're just kind of hitting form as they did last year, kind of at the right time.
Yeah, they're the favourites. In fact, apart from Liverpool, they're my favourite team in world football.
Yeah.
Because as much as you talk about PSG and they talk about the money they have and they thought they bought this and they bought that, if you look at the players they have in Duan, Barcola and Kvaratskhelia and, you know, the boy, the Ecuadorian at the back, and they haven't bought superstar players. They haven't, spent £100 million on superstars. When they had the superstars, Messi, Neymar, Mbappe, they did nothing. Yeah. So that is a proper team with a proper manager, and the team is the most important thing. So Liverpool will have their work cut out. The danger for Paris Saint-Germain is that when Liverpool turn up, if they do, they can perform with the players they have. Ekitike and Wirtz on their day. And it's a two-off, if you like, but it's a one-off. So while I'll make Paris Saint-Germain the favourites, would I be that surprised if Liverpool knocked them out? No, I won't. But I'll still make PSG the favourites over the two legs.
No, I'm with you on that one. Barnesy, as always, thanks for your time and great to see you, mate.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, mate. Look after yourself. Talking Chelsea next, Marc Cucurella maybe eyeing a return to Barcelona. I told you before, was it these European players, they go away on international duty and they'll say something at a press conference?
I mean, he might, look, in fairness to Marc Cucurella,
he's probably been asked a question.
He might have just been posed some sort of question, and you end up saying, at some point maybe, and then all of a sudden
we jump on it.
We jump all over it, and people twist that and
you're probably right.
Contort that just a little bit. Hey, when you think back, just quickly, Ali, before we go to the break, when you think back about Sadio Mane, Firmino and Mo Salah, when those three were absolutely
incredible,
flying for Liverpool under Klopp.
Well, Banji mentioned Doué, Dembele, Kvaratskhelia, Barcola. The three you've mentioned are up there as well.
They were so good to watch.
I remember going to watch. I think Liverpool gave Everton a bit of a going over. Everton fans won't thank me for reminding them. And Mane on the left-hand side.
Oh, he was a top player, wasn't he?
He was flying, mate.
Yeah.
I was watching him, couldn't take my eyes off him.
But Firmino, because he wasn't quick, but he was so clever and so technically gifted and so talented and kind of brilliant in his own right, they just They were just irresistible, weren't they? Those three. Oh, what a chance! You know, when you got three guys like that playing at the top of your team, the boys behind them must have thought every week, listen, if we half keep it right back here, these boys are going to go and sort it, and they did. They were wonderful.
Tremendous to watch. Going to take a short break. Stay with us.
Do you trust the Spurs ownership to get this next appointment right?
Do I trust the Spurs ownership? I don't know. Do I rate the Spurs ownership?
Well, you said you're not sure that you know what they're doing.
It's not for me to trust them because I don't care about their judgment. But do I rate their judgment? Well, not at this moment in time, because the body of work that they've produced is poor. They weren't responsible for the appointment of Thomas Frank, so there's an irrelevance to that question because Daniel Levy made that appointment. The fact that he fired him, the fact that was an inevitability and forecast by me 2 or 3 months earlier isn't a surprise. The fact that they've in my mind, they've got two people that are number twos in business, running the business and making decisions with outside influences that sit on their board that don't have any football knowledge, in my view, making decisions, has brought out outcomes that would make anybody go, well, I don't really rate their thinking. As far as the Zerbi is concerned, he's a decent manager. He comes with his own baggage like most of them do. He did a decent job at Brighton. He was an ungrateful little wretch when he departed because he decided to have a broadside at the owner of the football club that spent enormous amounts of time giving him an opportunity and backing him. Just because you lost a game in Europe doesn't really entitle you to have a broadside at your ownership model. But that's what he does, and that's what you get. Now, for him, taking Tottenham Hotspur, I think there's all upside for him. This is a huge football club. Irrespective if it gets relegated or not, my balance of probabilities, it will bounce back again. And it'll be priced into people's thinking. If he takes the Tottenham job because of the size of that football club and the scale of it, then there will always be a dispensation if they were to be relegated.
Used to trot out to this back in the day.
What year would that be? It came out 70s.
70, 1970 FA Cup, wasn't it?
Was it?
I don't know. I'm guessing.
I think it was, mate.
Could well have been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is talkSPORT Breakfast, 20 minutes past 9. It's Tuesday the 31st of March. Ally and Andy with you this morning. Right, that's that question before. Come on.
Well, the one I was just telling you there. Yes. Right, listen, how about this? So, every band out there, Coisty, has got a song,
Correct.
right, that when they play it live, because I saw a little clip this week of AC/DC in Buenos Aires.
Ridiculous.
And they were singing Highway to Hell, and everybody in the stadium.
It was
I swear to you,
unbelievable.
no one sat on a seat. Everyone was jumping up and down, going crazy. You think the stadium's rattling and wobbling. Now, you was at the Oasis gigs.
Yes.
So, what was the song you think at the Oasis gigs where you look round and everybody
Cigarettes and alcohol.
Right. That doesn't surprise me. What an amazing song that is.
But then, yeah, that would be the one.
I think every band has got one tune when they play it.
Bon Jovi. Got to be. I've got it in my head right now.
Bon Jovi. Wanted Dead or Alive or Living on a Prayer.
Living on a Prayer for me. Living on a Prayer.
So they've all got
Metallica. Metallica.
Enter Sandman. So come on, people, 81089, text us, please. That one song that when the band you're watching or you've gone to see, when they play that one, it's the one song that everybody goes ballistic.
Have you seen the college mob? Is it Virginia Tech or whatever you call them?
Oh, I have.
They run it
when they run out to Enter Sandman. That's great, isn't it?
Live.
It's fantastic, isn't it?
Brilliant.
Fantastic. And those gigs when they're like that, and you see little clips as I did in the week of that of the AC/DC ones, they're just astonishing.
I mean, really good. The River Plate was just ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, the River Plate.
And Cossy, I need one other thing. I need some help from the TalkSport listeners.
Yes.
So me and the boys who I play golf with, right? I need a British golfer, a European golfer, an American golfer, and the rest of the world
for the Masters.
And I've got to pick. We've all got to pick. We're all going to pick, and we put a few quid in, and we have a little.
Oh, that's brilliant! And you add up the four scores.
You add up the 4 scores each round.
What happens if you don't?
If you don't make the cut,
if
you don't make the cut,
that's a disaster.
You have an 80. So you're going to be 8 over par, that player, for that round, for the third round.
Well, actually, you're not out it then.
So you're not out of it, but you ain't going to win it.
No.
So I need a British golfer, a European, an American one, and a rest of the world one, please. I need some help with that because I haven't really done a lot of studying on that.
I'm giving you Tommy Fleetwood.
Tommy Fleetwood for the British golfer.
I'm giving you
every chance. European.
I might give you Bob McIntyre.
Bob McIntyre goes down as a European. That's good enough. Aberg, do you like him?
I do like him.
Yeah, he's one that
I really like him.
He's one that everyone seems to talk about. Could be very, very interesting for the Masters.
Do you know who I've got a wee sneaky for? And he's been at the picture for a long, long time.
Go on.
Brooks Koepka.
Brooks Koepka, who actually had an interview, I think, last week somewhere and said he's sort of found his mojo again. He's got his love back for the game. Must be that 300 million he got from the Live Tour.
I think that helps.
Just rekindled a bit of love.
He was using it as a pillow. He's just put his head on it at night. Yeah. It's the best Sunday night in the planet.
It's
the best Sunday
compulsive telly, isn't it? It's brilliant. It really
just
is.
Sitting there, wee glass of red,
watching
every shot. I mean, I love. There's nothing like going to live sport, right?
No,
can't beat it. Football, whatever it may be, rugby, a lot. But I'm of the opinion the final day of a major has to be watched in the house or in the pub with your mates. Because you see, with the greatest respect, I love going to golf. Of course you do.
Yes.
But you don't see anything like the number of shots.
No, you don't. No, it's lovely to go and watch the boys in action. The
course it is.
Pros, it really is. But it is the best seat in the house, isn't it? The one on the box and that Sunday night is just very special.
See if you go and watch them.
Yeah.
I don't know what you think, Andy. It just sounds different.
It does.
Man.
They get
it's
like
a crack, isn't it?
It's like
that's exactly what it sounds like. When I hear it's a thud.
Yes, exactly.
Do you know what I mean? It's like a bang with a big caveman thud.
Come off the toe or the heel. They don't.
How do they go again?
Like
you heard blue as a colour a minute ago. Yeah. Enzo Fernandez expressed his desire to play for Real Madrid. Man United rumours reared their head over the weekend for boyhood Red Devil Cole Palmer. And now Cucurella has been asked about a return to Barcelona. He said, let's see. It's clear that if those situations arise, well, they're hard to turn down, but I would have to consider it in the end. Right, the first thing you've got to say, he's probably been asked that question and he's gave the answer which he probably should.
Yeah.
Unless he goes, look, I'm not talking to you about that. I'm talking to you whatever you want, but I'm a Chelsea player.
Yeah.
Or is that somebody just got a wee sneaky line at European international break?
And look, I've no idea how long Marc Cucurella is on his deal with Chelsea. I would imagine he's still got a couple of 3 years yet. So the cards are very much with the club.
Where are we with Chelsea at the moment? I mean, I've got to say, I don't think it's been a great few weeks for the club, Andy. All that nonsense about, the huddle and all that stuff.
Yeah.
respecting the ball and dear me. I mean,
I said the other week, Ali, I actually think that Liam has done a decent job since he's been in there. Look, he got paced in against PSG, which can happen. That can happen because they're a proper team. They are a very, very good team. I just would like him to not be quite so open with everything that's going on and every decision, every question that he's asked.
Yeah.
Listen, and he'll get that with experience. He's probably learning literally by the hour, never mind the day.
I just think sometimes
it's difficult, mate. It's very hard.
If you start going out and talking in a kind of non-football manner, it's as if sometimes you're maybe trying to be a wee bit too clever.
Correct. Yeah, and it can. Some of the stuff sounds a bit kid stuff to me, but there you go. That's a different era, different time, and I have to respect that. And I sincerely hope he, because at the moment in current form, I saw the other day. I don't know if it's.
Oh, they're all right.
They're doing all right.
Yeah,
they're doing all right in terms of the league position.
Apart from what game was it?
They got humping at Everton.
3-0 at Everton. Yeah. I mean, did you go to the Villa game when they were excellent?
They were fantastic that night. Chelsea were brilliant at Villa. João Pedro was amazing that night. Amazing. He was absolutely
I think he's got that. And I'm not bit.
He's good. He's got plenty about him.
I think that's maybe a little bit like the team at this moment. I'm not sure there's a total level of consistency that they were like. But he's capable when he plays, man. He's capable.
I think that sometimes this mass turnover of players, and Chelsea, look, they have the way that they operate and the way they run their club. But it also, you have to remember sometimes the message that's sending out to the players that are actually at the club.
Yeah.
I think it sends a message all the time that anyone can go at any time. If you fancy leaving, you can go. Maybe that's why you're hearing Cucurella and Enzo Fernandez just recently when there's been talk about Real Madrid or Barcelona. Yeah, all of a sudden they're happy to talk about it because they probably think, well, if I want to leave, I'll
here's
make it
one
happen.
for you. Now, I am not, believe me, I am not in any way, shape or form accusing any player, or particularly those two players you mentioned, of doing it.
Go on.
But there's certainly been a case where one or two players will say to somebody at a press conference, fire this one at me.
Might well.
No, I'm not suggesting for a minute, by the way. I'm really not.
No.
But
you wouldn't put it past someone.
I bet it's been done.
Yeah, probably.
Right now, I bet it's been done.
Look at these texts, Ali. Look, Red Hot Chili Peppers can't stop. Or by the way, watched both at Slane Castle, who were outrageous. Says Craig.
Yes.
Wurzels. I've got a new combine harvester. Now, I'm trying to be serious here. Right, Paul says Robbie Williams' Angels.
Correct.
Is the one that everyone goes.
Oh,
It's a slow one, though, isn't it? It's a slow.
I know, but it's some song, mate.
It's a brilliant song.
It's absolutely some song. What else have we got? Killers,
Mr. Brightside. Great song. That one's
no,
from
I've got the other one. No. It's that one again.
No, I don't. I can't help you with that. If anyone's got a clue what questions, what humming here, text it to me, please. 810
Anyway,
you know the number.
You know the one I'm talking about. It's another one. I predict a riot.
Oh yeah,
Kaiser Chiefs.
Yeah.
That's absolutely go to. What else have we got?
I saw Rock and Roll Star Oasis is the one that someone said earlier is the one that everyone go mad to.
Yeah.
More than cigarettes and alcohol. Oh dear.
I think cigarettes and alcohol, mate. Okay, mate, more interesting news. It says more interesting news. It has to be more interesting news than we've been talking about coming out of Stamford Bridge. Former Team GB Olympic sprinter Adam Gemili has announced his retirement from athletics and will focus on a role as the club's speed coach. Adam joins us in around 20 minutes' time or so to stay... have another go at that. So stay tuned. Do you know something? That is absolutely brilliant, the wee stat that we read out there. Imagine being the first Brit to go sub 10 and sub 20.
And sub 20, yeah.
I mean, that is amazing, you know.
It is. It's
what would you mean yourself? Marathon for you, probably.
No. Do you know what? I tell you what, I always thought if I could do anything, I could do a 400 metre, right? Reasonably well. I did it once when I was, I don't know, about 18, 19, something like that. And I drew lane 8. Oh, disaster, Coisty, for me.
Hey,
right?
That's a coffin box.
Because you don't know, because all you can do is put your head down and just fly as fast as you can and hope there's a drop left in the tank as you turn around the top bend, which in my tank, unfortunately, there wasn't. I'd completely run out of gas. And when I turned round at one point, I was about 30 yards in front. And I finished about 5th.
See, it's all about pacing yourself.
It is pacing yourself.
I was 800 myself.
Was you?
800.
Was you really?
I used to tuck myself in.
Did you?
And then with about 150, I used to peel it and come in that fight.
And then when the bell went.
Aye.
you're out. All of a sudden, you just move out
That was it, mate.
and drop down a gear.
And I'd specifically come up and breathe on the guy in front of me just to let him know I was there and I wasn't going away. Right, enough of this nonsense. Stay tuned. We're going for a break.
On Friday night, England drew 1-1 with Uruguay. Ben White making his first appearance for his country since he walked out at the Qatar 2022 World Cup camp due to a reported falling out with the then assistant Steve Holland. So, Ben White on Friday night, Martin, a bit of an eventful night for Ben, to put it mildly. He gets booed when he put the ball in the back of the net, and he gave away the penalty in the 94th minute to see the game finish 1-1, and he was booed as he came off. Jonathan Norcroft in the Times: "It's an angry world and modern football crowds exhibit it. But booing a player after scoring for your country is still difficult to comprehend. Supporters do need to hear Ben White express some sort of regret. White is shy, but it's not too much to ask him to talk." We didn't hear from Ben, but we heard from Tuchel on the boos.
Disappointed if our players are booed. I understood that it happened before to players and they went through it and took it on the chin. Still, I don't like it. Still, I'm disappointed. I will always protect my players. He did so well in training and he almost scored for us, so it could have been a perfect comeback. But it was mixed reactions. It was not only boos, some cheered, so let's hope we put this behind us.
Martin, Jonathan Norcroft in the Times were saying that maybe if he's going to continue his international career, Ben White, he should explain himself what happened. Maybe speak out about the events from those years ago. Supporters do need to hear him express some sort of regret.
Amen Corner, perhaps the most feared run of holes in golf. Each year it claims the tournament hopes of many, with balls hitting bunkers and water traps aplenty. But why is it so fearsome, and where did it get its name? Just the thoughts of holes 11, 12 and 13 at Augusta National gives the likes of Rory McIlroy and Jordan Spieth the shivers. McIlroy hit 3 over and Spieth hit 4 over in their final rounds to blow their hopes of a green jacket in 2011 and 2016 respectively. But did you know Amen Corner's name is inspired by a jazz song from 1933? American sports writer Herbert Warren Wint, on the left here, wrote about it in 1958, referencing the song shouted in that Amen Corner when describing the run. Hole 11 is a par 4 over 520 yards with a green guarded by a pond and bunkers to the front edge. 12, perhaps golf's most famous hole, is a par 3 over just 155 yards. The green's guarded by Rays Creek at the front, more bunkers and azalea bushes ready to punish the smallest error. Then there's the 13th that teases the hook shot over the trees. It's a dogleg par 5 over 545 yards that's inviting for big hitters who want to reach the green in 2. If you want to win the Masters, you have to keep your score down around Amen Corner. So who'll be the next to fall victim to golf's most famous and most daunting challenge?
Thanks for your vote of confidence there, James. James is just confirming the fact he's a Liverpool fan. Morning, chaps. The only thing Ally will be breathing into in the 800 metre will be an oxygen tank.
Very true.
Not wrong.
Do you know, all of those races are so tough, and I admire athletes so much. They're so tough.
Millsy's boy's tremendous. Danny's boy's tremendous.
Danny's boy's a fantastic runner.
He's incredible.
Millsy told me once about what he's led at the training he has to go through, and you know how much you have to devote yourself to try and improve and get into the
elite.
top bracket, into the elite.
You're not getting any of those deep fried Mars bars with a whiskey custard.
I think they might not be advisable for Danny's boy to have them the night before a race. However, do you remember Usain Bolt apparently used to have like chicken nuggets or something on the? Honestly, I kid you not. You'd be thinking there'd be some special dish he's got prepared for him. The night before a race, but apparently just eat what he liked, whatever he fancied. Just that. And that's kind of the way he sort of run, wasn't it?
He was different. Aye.
He just runs so natural.
Natural. See when you watched him in the blocks and all that, he'd be talking to the kids with his training shoes and all.
Wasn't
he? He was just a different level, wasn't he?
Was absolutely wonderful.
I don't think we'll ever see his likes again. Will we? What did he get? He won
9, and he was he 9.59, something like that.
I remember he ran that. You remember he used to run up and he'd get in people's shoulders and get him
have a look at him
and have a wee look at him.
Yeah. Oh no, yeah, he was.
That was
wonderful to watch.
Different level. Right, quick one. Petrol. You told me something. I need to tell.
So my wife's cousin Lee, hello Lee, listens in Dubai every day. If you're listening right now, 25 quid to fill up a big one over there, right? One of a big Jeep. He said whatever he's got. And it's 25 quid.
25 quid. I'm not sure we get taxed enough, to be honest. I might need to do something, maybe put the tax up a wee bit here. Now, it's been all changed at Dagenham Redbridge since YouTube star KSI became co-owner earlier this month. His first order of business was to appoint Andy Carroll as boss, despite the former Liverpool and England striker previously saying he had no interest in management. We're going to bring in a man right at the top of the club recently. A CEO of the club, John Grabowski, is joining us right now. John, good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Morning, John.
Morning, Ally.
Thanks very much for taking the time to join us, John. John, tell me, how did you manage to get this dramatic turnaround in Andy's opinion? Because at one point he did say, I remember reading it, he had no interest at all in management.
Yeah, Andy got involved in the club last summer. Obviously, his quality as a player and the opportunity to play at this level was sort of unique and something that we jumped at. As the season's gone on, I think he's enjoyed himself being around the group and the guys, and he's more committed than obviously just a player. He's an investor and a shareholder in the club. So when when we decided to make a change, Andy sort of acknowledged that he might have a little bit to give off the pitch while he's working his way back from injury, and a chance to kind of manage this side. Was one that he was open to. So despite having, acknowledging that opinion, he also realizes there's an opportunity here and he could add value and he's, off to a flying start.
Yeah, no, it's great. Look, and I'm sure that, a lot of players, non-league players, John, they look up to guys that have played league football, and I'm sure they're taking a lot on board from Andy. Do you have any full-time players, John, or not?
So we are a full-time setup.
Right.
We were relegated from the National League to the National League South last season and made the commitment, which was not always a given, but we believe ourselves to be a club bigger than the level that we're at, and one way to sort of remain that way is to ensure that we stayed full-time. So we are a full-time.
Great.
Well, it's John. The one thing is, it's certainly a sign of commitment and a level of commitment. But I'm also going to suggest you, maybe, does it just put an added little bit of pressure on you as well, which perhaps you don't mind?
I don't know. I mean, it's a little showtime around here at the moment, and Andy can rise to that. So I don't know if there's any more or less pressure than our diehard fans want to provide on a given week, whether you guys are paying attention or not. So I think it might be a bit daft to say it's business as usual, but in any case, there's pressure always around football clubs, and it's our job to kind of operate inside of that storm.
It's brilliant, Joe. I was just going to say, sorry to interrupt you there, and I'm looking at it, your victory one. I think it might have been Torquay at the weekend, and KSI was there. You look at what's happening in football. Particularly a lot of the not so much non-league and lower league as well, but Wrexham springs to mind, Swansea. And obviously KSI coming in at your own club, John. Is this something you see happening more regular? Do you see something more of this happening in the future?
I think it's. I mean, yes. I think football clubs represent a platform, a way to connect with people, and if you already have an audience and a community and fans and followers, being able to bring that new fan group to a football club and then entertain them and delight them and do all the fun things that football does for everyone and bring new fans into that is sort of a natural fit. I think every project is made a little different. And it's also important for the talent, the kind of celebrity name, if you will, that's attached to that, to have an authentic connection and commitment that works for them. And that allows, what the club does and what the club can then deliver and the way the club can benefit to be that much more viable. So yeah, I think, more of it, why not? But I think it's not one size fits all. Every sort of partnership like this is built a little different.
Yeah. And I saw, John, I did the Macclesfield games in the FA Cup this year. And speaking to those guys up there, you was up there, Ali, weren't you?
Yes, I was, yeah.
The second one, the Brentford one.
That's correct.
And speaking to the guys that run the club there, how hard it is to make ends meet. Clubs are always pleading poverty, I know. But at your level, genuinely, it is a daily fight, isn't it, to make sure that you've got all the bases covered, all the bills are paid, and you've still got a few bob there to play with.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, that's the nature of this. I think, a passing glance at the finances of any football club up and down the English football pyramid, and you'd wonder, why is anyone in this business? But then you take a step back and you also can quickly understand the romance and the drama and the intrigue that keeps pulling us all back in. So, there's no shortage of work to do. But, our job, I think, is to kind of harness the opportunity that's in front of us. We've got a bigger stadium than a lot of other clubs in our league. We're on the district line. We're a London club, whether fans who remember when Dagenham was part of Essex or not care to admit that or acknowledge that. And that gives us an opportunity to hopefully play above our station.
John, listen, mate, thanks for coming on. Exciting times
John.
ahead. We're wishing you all the best for the future, mate.
All right. Thanks a lot. Thanks for having me, guys.
Great to see you. Appreciate your time. Here's one for you, Andy.
Go on.
That was obviously John Grabowski there, Chief Executive Officer of Dagenham Redbridge, who we wish the very best to. From one chief exec to another, Newcastle United's David Hopkinson has cast a shade of doubt over the future of boss Eddie Howe. This is interesting. I just did a quick reader there. Hopkinson said, "I don't have a stance on his future. What I can tell you is that the Derby loss hurt. We take it seriously. There's nothing within us that thinks, well, it's just 3 points and on we go. It has resonated."
Is he chief exec, is he?
Yeah. He's chief exec, isn't he?
Well, the first thing that I think of when hearing that, I bet Eddie's livid with that.
Raging.
I bet he's boiling.
Raging.
When he hears quotes like that. I don't think he would be too pleased with all of that. Listen, Eddie Howe won the League Cup. He's given them a couple of runs in the Champions League.
I'm with you.
I'll tell you what, and I watched the two Barcelona games. Right, the first game St James's
first.
The first one was at St James's, and then the one in Barca they were right in that game. Yeah, and in the end, it went ballistic, and they give away some really bad goals, and then on the back of that, they come and play in the derby and get done.
Yeah,
right. Not good. Obviously, not good. But isn't that the time when the chief exec comes out and kind of throws a bit of weight,
throws an arm around you,
throws an arm around him, and gives him a little bit of a cuddle and says, "Look, we've got to pick it up again. We've got to improve."
Yes,
Eddie will be the first one to understand that.
Unity.
So that's those
what
quotes are kind of strange, and I would imagine there's been a lot of talk about Eddie coming out of Newcastle. Be careful what you wish for, guys. I tell you, because he's a good manager, knows what he's doing, and has given the Newcastle fans
some great days
recently. I know nothing lasts forever, not in football, most certainly.
Yeah.
But I think he'll be a little bit a little bit upset at those comments.
I think so. Very, very strange. Stay with us, guys. Adam Gemili next.
Is Itoma the sort of fighter, Dave, that the likes of Fury, the likes of AJ, you know, that they're in the mid-30s now, they're trying to avoid, and maybe more like a Fabio Wardley and Dubois would be one of the fights that you'll have next?
Yeah, Joshua and Fury won't go near him. He's too young, too fresh, too fast. You know, their best days have gone. So, Itoma, realistically, he's looking at Dubois, Wardley winner. I don't think the Wardley winner. I think if Wardley wins, I don't think he'll box him because they're in the same gym. Dubois may, but Caballel, you know, Itoma's gonna have to fight one of them guys. He's not gonna get one of the old guard that's on the way out. He's gonna have to box one of the real, you know, main men, which is Caballel. So it's interesting, and then he's gonna be around for another 15 years, hopefully. You know, so there's going to be people we're not even heard of yet that are going to come and have a go at him.
Is that the danger with heavyweights like him, to be so strong and powerful but quick as well?
Yeah, it's the speed. All heavyweights can punch. For me personally, I've never been put over in a fight, never been down and out. That's because I can see him coming. The danger with the time is you don't really see him coming. He's that fast. You know, he throws a lovely right hook off the back of a left hand to the body, and no one sees it coming. That's what Franklin does well. Franklin doesn't get hit properly. That's why he's never been over. All his great chin talk for me is nonsense. There's no great chins. Anyone gets hit properly, you go over.
Keep on running. Keep on high.
Have you got it?
Keep on running, yeah.
I'm in again, by the way. What a woman I've had.
Ed's teeing you up with these.
No, promise he's not. But he's just told you, I know he has.
Come on, just Tell me who it is.
Unless I'm mistaken, I think it's the Spencer Davis group.
Yes, it is. Correct. That's exactly what it is, Ali.
Thanks very much. This is talkSPORT Breakfast. We're in the home straight, mate, 10 to 9, 10 to 10 even. Ally and Andy with you this morning, now from the Chelsea Academy to the Olympic start line. It's been one heck of a ride for Adam Gemili, and it's all come full circle. Yep, last night one of Britain's fastest ever men called time in a 14-year career. And what a career. World champion, 4-time European gold medalist. He went from playing non-league football to racing Usain Bolt in the space of 6 months.
Isn't that amazing? Brilliant.
But he's not putting his feet up. He's heading back to where it all began, returning to the Chelsea Academy as a specialist speed coach. I'm delighted to say we're joined by the man himself, Adam Gemili. Adam, very good morning to you. Thanks for joining us. How are you?
Good morning. Yeah, doing well, thank you. Doing really, really well. Better listening to you guys in the morning. Starts the day off right. So
great stuff.
Well, it's brilliant to see you, mate. Listen, first I've got to say, from both of us, congratulations. A magnificent career. Nothing short of magnificent. When did you realise enough was enough?
I think after last season, it was getting to that stage where everyone was starting to go back to training, and I don't know. I was just at a stage where I was happy with what I've done. I was just ready for the next stage, and I was just like, do you know what? I think I can hang my spikes up, and just to announce it this week was it was quite a scary thing, but I've been sort of really inundated with a lot of messages, a lot more than I sort of ever imagined, and it got me a little bit emotional, to be honest with you. But last season I knew after that was going to be my last year.
It's quite a moment, Adam, isn't it? We've all been there where you sort of get yourself to the point where. And it's maybe not something that's conscious, but then all of a sudden, as you just said, something hits you and you just think, I feel like now's the right time to say that'll do. That'll do.
That's exactly it. I remember just waking up and I didn't quite, it's a weird way to say it, but I didn't quite have the same hunger for elite sport as I did in my 20s. And if you're going to do sport at any level, especially at the top level, you have to live it and breathe it every single day. It has to be your be all and end all. And when the other things start coming in as your priority, and you start looking at other things. If I won a race, great. If I lost a race, I'll be like, okay, no one died. It wasn't a big deal. And once you lose that mentality, it's really, really hard to stay at the top level, especially in sprinting, any sport, but sprinting especially. It's
what was the biggest thing, Adam, when you obviously knew you were quick as a boy growing up and all that stuff, and you playing your football? What was the big thing that struck you when you decided to go in full time and commit yourself totally to sprinting? What was the one thing that had to change, or the one thing that did change for you?
Oh, it was a lot of things, to be fair. I think the biggest change for me was growing up playing football in a team environment. You always had your teammates there. You always had other people to rely on. If you woke up one day and you went to training, you were feeling 60-70%, you could get by. And athletics, if you don't do the work, if you don't run, if you don't lift, then the only person that doesn't get better is you. So it's a completely different work ethic, and the differences in terms of the technical differences that you need to put in. You could be a really, really talented footballer, but athletics wise, you don't need to be necessarily a good athlete, but in athletics, your technique has to be, it's the 1 or 2% that just makes such a difference. I've won and lost medals by thousandths of seconds, and you don't really have anything like that in football. So it was really that individual aspect that was a big shell shock for me, and something it took me a while to get used to. But I loved it.
Tell us then, Adam, about the new role, about what's going to happen now. What's next? Going back going back to the bridge.
Yeah, it's cool. I've been working with the Chelsea boys. I went to speak to the academy probably August time, and the academy manager approached me and was like, "Oh, would you be interested in doing some speed work with a couple of our academy boys?" And I was like, "Yeah, absolutely." So it only started with a couple of the lads, and they were fantastic. And Chelsea have always been one of the leading academies, but the innovation there, and they realise they can learn so much from other sports, and track and field is one of the greatest things, and sprinting can help these guys massively. And I've been working with the 13s and the 14s just once a week at the moment, and they've seen massive improvements. All their testing and their numbers have improved massively, and I don't necessarily want them to start running like sprinters. I just want them to understand the mechanics of how to apply force, how to accelerate properly, and give them that extra advantage over their opponents on the pitch. And it's been a great run so far, and I'm hoping it can continue for as long as it can.
Great.
I tell you, I love that. I love that, because it's one of the things as well. Adam, my boys play football, right? And there's bits and pieces you can tell them about the football, whether it's runs in behind, coming short, work on your touch and all that stuff. But the one thing that I can't really tell them is how to work on their pace, and that's really, really interesting. And is there anything you could, a little nugget? I mean, I would imagine it's very, very difficult, but I mean,
it's coachable. It's coachable, especially anyone listening. If they want to improve their speed, it's just a little cue that people can do. It's just about even keeping their feet firm when they hit the floor. It's about how hard can you hit the floor and react straight off of it. And a lot of people, when they hit the floor, their feet collapse and they spend so long to push off. And it's just about picking their feet up and getting on and off the ground quickly. Power comes from the arms as well. You wouldn't believe how little people, all of these footballers, they're using same arm, same leg, and I'm like, 50% of your power comes from your arms. So pump them, drive your elbows back, and really work it, and you'll be surprised with how fast you really can move forward. And it's just making little technical cues so they can understand that feeling, and it's practice.
Adam, it's brilliant. I'll tell you what, mate. I mean, that's fantastic. I can't lie to you, mate. I've started playing paddle with my boys. Listen, mate, I can't lie. I've lost half a yard, right? But I'm listening to your advice here. Are they in for a shock the next time they see me in that paddle court, boy? I can tell you. They'll not recognise me, mate. Listen, the best of luck to you. Congratulations again on a fantastic career, and we wish you very much all the best for the future, mate.
Well done, Adam.
Thank you.
Do you know, Ali, just very quickly, isn't it funny, Adam's going back to Chelsea. When I was at Chelsea, right, 1990, we had Linford Christie's coach, Ron Rodden. He used to come in and teach us a little bit. Clearly not enough, right? But he used to come in and teach. And we had a guy called Len Heppel.
Right? I know Lenny Heppel. He was a Sunderland.
Right. And he used to get us...
He was brilliant. Sit with your backside, stand with your backside out.
You have to stand with your backside out, and you have to dip your head forward. That's the first thing you do. But the trouble is, we were all walking about like Norman Wisdom, right? You remember Norman's... And it's funny, even all those years ago.
Lenny Heppel was Pop Robson's father-in-law.
Is that what it was? There you go.
There you go. Brilliant. He was magic. And I've loved this morning, mate. You enjoyed it, pal? What are you up to today, quick?
No, not a lot today, pal. No, back up the road, and looking forward to the Masters starting this week.
Oh, terrific. Well, that was Adam Gemili. Thanks for your company. Hope you guys out there have enjoyed it as much as Andy and I have. Now, stay tuned. I'm back tomorrow alongside the big fella. The big fella's back. Big Al's been on holiday, and he will be raring to go. Looking forward to that very much. Jim and Simon next.
What a melt.